You are listening to the Savage FINcast, episode 94, Lovin.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast, the show that's like an octopus with a shotgun. My name is Jim Purcell.
I'm Craig Olson.
And I'm Raven Perez.
And welcome to another episode of the Savage FINcast, the internet's only, as far as I know, podcast dedicated to Savage Dragon and its creator, Eric Larson. I'm joined, as always, by my co-hosts, that Raven, and that Clown Craig.
The podcast's so good we get introduced twice.
Indeed.
That's right. This is the Savage FINcast.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're back.
We're back.
As of this recording, COVID has been cured.
Yeah, man.
Coming from the far-off year of 2022.
I knew America was really going to get it together. That's all. I knew we were going to get it.
But we do have another new issue of Savage Dragon. That's all that matters.
Yes.
And Turtles.
Yep. More Turtles. Getting closer to the end there, that Turtles.
I'm getting really antsy in the pantsy about that.
Dude, we're on Savage Dragon 249. One issue away from this 250 extravaganza, and things are heating up. I can't wait to talk about this issue.
Well,
Do you mean to say...
I think you guys put too much stock in these anniversary issues.
Well, here's the thing: is fair enough. I don't think we're getting a 275. I think the next big push is going to be for 300.
I don't believe it. I don't think Eric can help himself.
I do, dude. I think after especially how 250 was such a bear, I think that he's going to, for the listeners who may not know, for the uninitiated, he had to chase down a bunch of collaborators on that one. It really bogged the book down. And so, yeah.
And thankfully, COVID quarantine helped smooth that over.
Yep.
Well, we always know something big happens almost every anniversary issue, if not every anniversary issue. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I actually kind of thought 250 would be the big what's the word I'm looking for? Nothing ish celebration issue.
Seinfeld.
But
it's a celebration about nothing.
We'll see.
It's coming up. But we already know it's a 100-page book, so it's definitely a celebration of something.
Mm-hmm.
But to get there, we got to get through 249.
And guys, what a gift it is! I can't wait.
But before we get to it, we got to get through some other things. So for Savage Dragon News this week, we got a big fat nothing, which doesn't happen very often. We were looking at real dregs of quote unquote news. So I think we're just gonna not do any news this episode.
You got to figure with the industry kind of being shut down with COVID and things getting pushed back by months, we're finally seeing the comic shop starting to open up. But I wasn't expecting much on the news front. I think the good thing is it's given Eric maybe a little more time to do catch up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He does seem to imply that the book's going to be monthly for a while because I think he's a couple of months ahead right now.
Mm-hmm.
Which is going to help immensely for the next 6 to 12 months.
I'm excited. After the year that we shall not talk about, the half year, 2019. It'll be nice to see just month after month of Savage Dragon. Can't wait, dudes. Can't wait.
Well, it's happening. We're in the middle of it now.
Loving it. Since there was no news, we're going to do-si-do. We're gonna sashay away from this empty news desk over to our FINteresting Conversation desk, and that's where we, the lovely, handsome, well-endowed FINcast hosts, we respond to we come down from Mount Olympus and we interact with you mortals. And, we talk about Savage Dragon related things. I'm going to hit back with one of our chosen ones, Raymond Cummings, who has blessed us godlike beings with this correspondence in response to our Savage FINcast FINteresting Conversation last time. When Raymond says, personally, I'd want a Bloom County homage for 252, unlikely as it is, but perhaps in the style of the 1983-1986 iteration. Maybe have Malcolm recovering from an injury in a wheelchair and go Cutter John there, and the Milo and Blinkley are tiny enough comparatively that the Dragon Kids could be drawn like them. Maybe model Maxine like Lola Granola or Bobby Harlow, but slightly shorter. Of course, a Peanuts nod would be spectacular. I have no idea of how Eric would do that. It would need to be a scene without the kids. Ironically, living in the future as we are, Raymond wrote this in May, we have seen the Peanuts reference, and it is with the kids.
Yeah, why would he say it would need to be a scene without the kids?
I think because he'd assume that Malcolm would be a Peanuts character and you couldn't have a kid of a kid. I don't know. It is kind of a weird angle to go at it at.
Gotcha.
It would create a weird sort of like Goofy walking Pluto.
So we've seen a panel on Facebook from Eric showing the Dragon Kids as Peanut characters, and oddly enough, I wouldn't think it would be that hard, but Eric said it's pretty difficult to kind of ape that style.
It's an old secret of cartooning and cartoonists that the more simple the cartoon, the less you have room to hide your flaws, so the harder it is to execute. Basically, every line has to land perfect and be quality, and so it is easier to draw.
You can't cross-hatch your way out of this one.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It is easier to slather a drawing in rendering and cross-hatching and have it look impressive than it is to do it in economic. That's why the guys like Corey Walker are unsung heroes of the industry, because here's a guy that uses minimal line weight, but just fucking knocks it out of the park every time.
Gotcha.
Anyway, man, we got on a tangent on that one, but I love it. Also, back from Raymond, he says, a predecessor for Things All Homage approach, though this was a single graphic novel, but check out Daniel Close's Ice Haven. We all agreed that we don't know what that is, and so we just choose to ignore that, Raymond.
Unfortunately, we also don't know a lot about Bloom County either, although I did read a bit of Opus, but not enough to know who any of these characters are.
I'm definitely going to check out Ice Haven. That sounds interesting. I like Daniel Close.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a joke. We do. Daniel Close is fucking awesome, so I would love to see what Ice Haven's about.
It's crazy that sounds like he's super into Bloom County. Like, I've never been super into any strips.
Oh, really?
Like comic strips. I'll read them here and there.
I mean,
but I never followed any religiously.
I was super into Calvin and Hobbes when it was still in the papers. My parents bought me some of those chunky collections, and those are some of my earliest comic experiences.
I would read them, but I would only read them if I picked up the paper. Like, I wouldn't be like, I have to get today's paper and read the newest one. Read the collections.
It was my goal for 3 or 4 years to get every single one of those collections because I became obsessive about it.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I said, it was one of my earliest comic experiences, even before I really read comic books. Of course, that's true probably for a lot of people, but
I was going to say that's true. Strips actually are the most dominant in North America form of comic. For sure. Sense. Easily. Yeah.
Although I would suspect it might be tapering off some, because newspaper comics are starting to become less and less ubiquitous in experience, I'd say.
Let me counter that, though, with saying that unquestionably the strip is the dominant format online.
That makes sense.
Unquestionably, dude. Because
even that I'd say maybe it used to be, but things feel more long form these days. Like the webcomic industry, the webcomic.
Oh, there's no such thing.
Yeah,
as
I know. We won't get into that right now. But the webcomic landscape has changed significantly since the early 2000s. It feels less. It feels like strips are less in, and more serialized graphic novels are taken over.
I can tell you, as a comic creator, that does not feel like the case. The Kings are still strip makers.
I mean, that's what you do, in a way.
I do.
You're doing full pages every strip.
I do issues. It's not strips. I'm saying, think about your Adam Ellis and your Sarah draws, and these are all strips. They're all one-offs. Everything you need to know begins and ends in those 4 panels. Right. So, yeah.
And I guess Nancy is a cultural icon.
Oh yeah, dude. Absolutely. The reason why is because of social media. Strips remain that kind of dominant thing because you're not just going to randomly share a page out of a long format story, but you're absolutely going to share a 4-panel gag that has everything that everyone needs to know in that 4 panels because people are going to laugh and be happy with it. So the stupid aliens that are the way they talk is very literal. Those dumbass aliens, you know the one I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. They'll be like, I would like to consume a chicken fried flesh product on the bone.
Raven, the one. Do you know who Randy Milholland is?
Nope.
He does Something Positive.
Oh, I know Something Positive.
He's drawing Popeye comics now. Officially. Cool. It's crazy. It's awesome.
That is very weird, yeah.
The thing for me for comic strips is I feel like a lot of times they're not very funny. Because they have to do these day in and day out, and that's where I kind of lost it for me. It was the force to try to be funny, and it just especially and I did not find Peanuts funny most of the time. And I don't know if it was just because of my age and it's a different time or whatever it was, but I felt like there were a lot of forced jokes, and it just wasn't for me. I will say Calvin and Hobbes is always entertaining.
Well,
some guys just have
Calvin
a
and
gift.
Hobbes was always more poignant often when it wasn't funny.
Right, exactly.
It was all killer, no filler. It had those poignant strips, but it also had an observational strips, but also too, just Waterston knew how to land it. That's why that's in a league of its own.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain strips the classics Peanuts or Beetle Bailey or Hagar or however you say it. It's just it's hit or miss.
Fucking Kathy.
Kathy's pretty good. As a child, I didn't get it, but I like it more now as an adult because
you became a strong, independent woman.
Kinda through Kathy.
That's what
I say. I say "ack" all the time when I get stressed out.
I heard him say it when I met him, folks. For listeners, first time I saw Jim, I said, "Hey, Jim, it's the FINcast in real life," and he just said "ack" and ran away. Yep. His hair sort of got disheveled, huge sweat beads shot out of his head.
I was a mess.
Wow, we went crazy on that one. Guys, thank you, Raymond, for writing in. We do appreciate it. Jokes aside, we love interacting with FINcast listeners. You know that shitbag Mark Welser? If he'd ever write in, we'd talk about what he wrote. So, just saying. I know you guys listen. You better write. You better write. But jokes aside, thank you very much, Raymond, for contributing, and we'd love to hear more from all you dudes. And I think now I'm going to toss it over. I sashayed from the empty news desk. I don't know what dance maneuvers Craig has planned, but I'm going to hand this off to Craig. Craig?
Well, if you guys aren't going to write in and give us a topic, we're going to make up our own damn topic, and you're going to like it, and you're going to respond. With last issue, and we'll see with this issue, we're seeing kind of the resurgence of the Vicious Circle, which is fan favorite. It's my favorite thing to see. One of my favorite things in Savage Dragon is to see these guys come back.
Absolutely.
And we got a good mix of the old characters and the new characters at this point in the Vicious Circle. And what we'll see in this issue is we're getting to know some of these characters a little more page by page and their personalities, whereas I feel like we've always had like a strong kind of B cast of the Vicious Circle, but then there's a lot of that C and D cast where you don't know anything about them and they're always in the background, but they look really cool. So it's always a treat to kind of get a little more information, understand how their powers work, what they do. So I'd like to know from you guys, with the remaining Vicious Circle guys out there, who would you like to see kind of get more of the spotlight? Maybe learn a little bit more about their background or just their powers in general. So write in, give us a 1, 2, 10, whatever, let us know what guys you've been dying to find out more about, or you just think's cool, or whatever the case is. We'd love to hear it. You can write us at savagefincast@gmail.com and let us know. You guys want to throw one out there that you'd want to know about?
Absolutely.
Go for it. What's
the dude with the bolts coming out of his head?
As mine, you
Roughneck.
Freaking bitch.
Everyone loves Roughneck. That's not even a choice.
He's gotten so much spotlight, but I want to know his background.
Me too, dude. What's his he's just got a bunch of, and we know the inside poop is that he's a Dave Johnson parody character.
Right.
He's a parody of Dave Johnson's character design. But what inspires him? What does he have kids hidden away somewhere? Is he gonna just show up with two little bolt monsters and be like, "Listen, daughters, you got to try and do better than your old man"? One day.
He's got the American flag pants. What's that?
And he's also got that red cross on his face, which is always, for some reason, it's always weird because I kind of interpret it as a British flag, but I don't think it's really that.
Does that stripe go all the way to his wiener?
I mean, it must.
No, he's my dude. I love that guy's visual. I've always thought he's cool. And since a lot of the bigger VC guys are retired now, and he's still from that era in my mind.
Yeah.
He's still cut from the Mako Dung skull face era. And those dudes,
he wears an American flag for pants. Yes, so is he I don't know.
With Doc Martens.
Yeah. Does he love America? Is he like a neo-Nazi?
Maybe he's I don't know, some Vietnam vet or something that was irradiated with something.
He was swimming in Ground Zero.
Do you think those bolts are growths, or are those bolts something he put in himself?
If you took them out, would they hurt him? What's the story? I want to know, dude.
The funny thing is, he's probably showed up in more comics than most other VC guys.
Yes, dude.
He's been everywhere, and I feel like he's been in spin-offs too.
Oh yeah, he has been in. He's been in not as many spin-offs as you'd think. He's been 3 issues of Freak Force Volume 2.
Oh, you get the wiki up, cheater.
He's been in 2 issues of Stormwatch. 2 different issues of Super Patriot, 2 different series, 1 issue of Wildcats. But he's been in, and actually he's not been in as many Savage Dragons as you'd think. It's only been maybe 25 or 30 issues. Yeah, he's so visually distinct. You think you see him more often than he might actually show up.
Well, you know what? Okay, if he was too obvious, then my backup is Fountainhead, because I love that guy unironically.
You want to know how the laser comes out of his eye?
Well, no, I just want to see him doing crazy shit. You know what I mean? You say, who do we want? It doesn't even have to be have him fleshed out. I want to see Fountainhead just show up and just blast water more.
What about you, Jim?
Well, the answer is the same as always been. Rogue Warrior is the awesomest looking design cool. Eric's got going right now.
What's his deal?
What is his deal? Why does he look like a red dragon? What is the deal? I mean, apparently his first appearance was in Savage Dragon 45, so when he came back in issue 94 as the disguise, it was really out there.
Yeah.
Cuz that oh no, I guess he showed up in 85. Oh, that's right. He was one of the flunkies trying to track Dragon down. So yeah, he's there's nothing about him. Nothing. No, nothing really like detail wise. Is he just a tough guy? Is he just a meathead? I kind of hope there's something more to him. It's kind of cool that he's almost like Dart's right-hand man. That seems like a really cool dynamic.
Would you say he is? I feel like Samurai and Bug are more...
they're more her partners, I feel. But like not Roughneck, Jesus. Rogue Warrior, I think, was one of the few guys
the muscle.
Who like figured out the new dynamic and basically just said, okay, I don't want to get chopped in half. I figured this out. All you got to do is do what she says.
There's a brain holding up that mohawk, is what you're saying.
Yes. But there's some characters in the new issue that, design-wise, I think are really cool. Like the green woman who absorbs energy, and like the rock-fisted chick.
In bare hands.
I think
so awesome.
I don't know anything about them except I like their designs and their power sets.
Yeah, Sickly is a really cool name too, for a villain.
Yep. And that's one of the things I'm kind of talking about is we've seen her before, but we just known her as the green chick, and in this issue she gets fleshed out.
Have we? Well, okay, where was her origin? Where did she first show up?
Her name was Sickly?
Yeah, I forget what issue. 115, 125, and 145 before this. But she's always kind of like...
Wow.
She's always like that, like just a green woman character in the background.
Cool.
And Bare Hands has shown up before. She was on... there was an issue where Dragon fought like most of the women Vicious Circle.
Right.
That like cool cover with all like I don't know if it's a go-go bar or something.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had to pick, who I've always wanted to know more about is just a crazy character. Baby Boom.
Oh yeah.
Yes, dude. Yeah.
It's giant baby.
Isn't Baby Boom dead?
I don't think so. I mean,
no.
At one point,
he's alive. I thought he was used as the energy source and exploded, but he hasn't shown up since issue 93.
Yeah.
Might be Adult Boom by now.
Just a baby filled with Kirby dot energy.
I mean, that's the question.
Power bombs.
Does Baby Boom age? Because he was a baby pretty much through all of his appearances, but he only appeared between 49 and 93. So it was enough time where maybe he has been aging this entire time. Maybe it's an adult that just looks like a baby. I don't know. It's sadistic though. They just use it as like a power source. Just this floating baby. I can't believe so strange. I can't believe it's been 150 issues, 50 plus, that Baby Boom has shown up, because Baby Boom is a really iconic design. I'm shocked. It's strange. It really is.
I do agree. I love Baby Boom.
Yeah. And of course, I of course will always believe that the Seeker story is not done.
Don't stop believing.
One of the new guys I'd really like to see is Pucker, and I hope he shows up. We don't see him this issue, but he's like kind of the rotund guy. He almost has like a girdle type thing on. He's got this like these huge like leech type lips. Yeah, he shows up. He's been in a bunch of issues starting in he's been 148, 188, 189, 190, 191, 196, and 200. But he's always kind of just a background type character. But he's definitely a crazy visual. Yeah, but I don't know what his powers are besides being strong. With those lips, he probably absorbs like people juice. People's heads.
People juice.
Ugh. Man juice. Do you remember that Howard Stern clip did you guys listen to Howard Stern?
No.
He used to always have this like recording clip of this like porno and this lady just be like, "I'll taste your juice." And it was just, I forget, it was something like that. And every time they played it, it was so ridiculously funny.
I'll taste your juice?
Yeah, it was something to that effect. And they used to always just play it. I'm butchering it, but
No, dude, I don't think you can butcher a what do they call those dingbats or whatever from a porno? And now for the news. I'll taste your juice. Like, come on. You're not butchering it, I assure you. All I know about Howard Stern is that he just like is like,
oh, it was. Can I taste your juice? That was the clip.
Can I taste your juice?
Listeners, Google it. If you listen to Howard Stern, you guys will know what I'm talking about. But it'd be like, Can I taste your juice? And they always just play it out of nowhere. That would just have me dying. Anyway, we're going into the weeds now.
Yeah, I think it's ready to. We're ready to retire. Listeners, if you want to taste, if you want us to taste your juice, please respond to the FINteresting topic you just heard us discuss.
We'd taste your juice.
We'd love to know who you want to see fleshed out more. So that's savagefincast@gmail.com.
And if you go on Savage Dragon Wiki and you go to profiles and groups, there's a whole list of currently living Vicious Circle characters. In fact, I forget about most of these guys. Like, I'm looking at the list right now, and Warrior, who appeared even last issue, is actually pretty cool design-wise. I want to see more of her.
What's the thing, dude? Like, Savage Dragon fans are spoiled for choice when it comes to, like, kick-ass designs we know nothing about.
And there's a guy called White Trash, who hasn't been seen in 100 issues.
Think about Curmudgeon.
And he was barely seen when we did see him.
Well, Curmudgeon wasn't VC. He was just a...
Yeah, but I'm just saying Curmudgeon kicked Malcolm's ass and just, like, whoop, and disappeared, and... MIA, bro. Who knows what he's doing down in those sewers? But I want to know.
So, you guys think it's about time? I've been waiting.
Yep. This is.
I'm getting hungry. What
are you hungry for?
I think I could go for some kind of potato meat combination.
Would you say meat and potatoes?
Oh, I'll taste your juice.
Can I taste your juice?
That's it, dude. Yo, man, 249, one issue away from the big show. And we got Revenge of the Six. And a cover rope-a-dope. Yeah. Like, he got me, dude. I was when I saw the shotgun, I was like, huh, who's Shotgun Guy? And of course it was, Octopus's kid.
Waylon Whipple,
the kid. Apparently he's just a human.
Yeah, is he a squiddery kid? He was a kid.
But I think, Jim, did you get it last when we were looking at the covers and we're like, who's the shotgun?
Well, I mean, it was to be fair, it was a process of elimination. It was all the same fucking kids from that other.
It just seemed weird, though. It was like,
yeah.
Well, yeah, because it was weird, but it made sense because back in their first appearance, he didn't have any powers then. He was just a regular kid. So, and of course, like I said, power deduction. It was like the only one who wasn't represented other ways.
I'm just saying, can you imagine blasting Malcolm with a scatter gun? I mean, it ain't gonna do shit. You know what I mean?
Might slow him down.
Maybe it's a super science shotgun.
Maybe
it's special bullets.
How much more of those tentacle arms add to the cover, though? It makes the cover so much better.
They do. Huge upgrade.
I love how he draws those things with the crazy looking like sucker things on them and stuff. He's great. You guys don't remember because I don't think you were collecting when it came when Octopus kind of first showed up on the scene.
Yeah.
And it was like that tease of like you just see these tentacles for a while, and then eventually you realized it was like under the guy's trench coat. But it was some really cool visuals of seeing those things for the first time. Just creepy looking.
It's an awesome visual. I mean, you talk about like iconic Savage Dragon designs like Octopus and Open Face.
Yeah, and they look great on this cover.
Yeah,
I love the inks on Open Face Jr.'s tongue. Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
So good, dude. Even Dumpling and Blossom, like, gotten some, like, killer, like, flies around their shit arms. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, the inking of, like, just the clumpy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Never thought I'd say that.
The texture work. There's texture.
It's so good, the inking of the clumpy shit.
No one inks clumpy shit like Eric. Like the high praise you never thought you'd get. He's an Inkwell Award winner, dude. He is. That was not a joke.
I know. I'm not laughing at that. I'm just laughing at the clumpy shit.
But it is funny because it's like, what's funny is there is a lot of really good ass texturing and shit going on. This is a good ass cover, dude. I'm sorry, we've talked so much. The coloring is good with like the texture behind Malcolm. Like the green is textured.
Well, Nikos's coloring has gone through the roof lately, texturing wise.
Yeah. So geez,
he's doing almost half the work now.
Let's get off this cover and talk about the very next page, which is awesome too.
Which is tell me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
the shit hits the fan.
The return of a long missed character. I can't believe I get to see him again. It's Malcolm's purple plaid shirt. One of the greatest character accoutrements of all time. I wish he would rock it in the present.
It does flatter him very much.
And ugly Peter Johnson. Yeah. Let's not forget ugly Peter Johnson. Old notch nose.
Seems
looking
unfair.
like a gangster.
But it's nice. It's really cool to see this flashback. We don't get flashbacks like this very often. Generally speaking, things happen in the present.
Yeah.
The only other time I remember a significant flashback like this is back when we saw some Dark Dragon flashback when he was working for Dark Lord.
Right.
Way back during Dragon War. I think the issue before he died. I think. But we don't get the flashback stuff very often, and when we do, it's cool like this.
Look at the background and like the cosmic dust, that like weird screen effect. What's that about?
Well,
never seen them use that before.
That's the thing, is Dimension X is full of weird shit all the time.
Stuff. Good stuff. I always love Savage Dragon. Seems like it always opens up with a splash with the awesome title and stuff. I always look forward to seeing that.
Even though these are throwaway monsters, these Dimension X dudes that he's like beating the shit out of, I like their design where they got like the glowy white mouths.
Yeah.
But they're like clearly like dirt monsters. That's cool, dude.
But this whole scene's really fun because we get to see that sort of that friends dynamic of the time these kids were all stuck in Dimension X, which was one of the cooler times for Malcolm and the gang. And of course, then we get to see them together in the present, which makes for a great dichotomy.
It drives home their history because I think new readers might not know like the history that these guys all have. It's so cool, man.
That's a good point. And I do feel like, and we hit on this, I think, last episode. I do feel like with this COVID situation, we're getting a lot more new readers that are like looking for old titles to pick up. And I feel like there's an uptick of newer people.
Absolutely.
And we'll actually see that in the letters page of this issue. But I think it's important to have some of these flashbacks sometimes.
Yeah, plus, I mean, really, like, it's better, honestly, for him to have chosen to do this sweet, like, you know, cover, like, pinup, and then a double-page splash, and just to present them this way. In 2 pages, you get it. Better than them sitting around talking about, oh, when we were kids, you know, trapped all the time. It's like, it's just, like, so much better to just show this thing, show them kicking ass together, dude. Malcolm protecting them.
Guys, can we talk about something? This issue is mind-blowing and amazing. But remember when we did the retro review, was it issue 7? Where is that the one where he gets knocked out of the skyscraper versus Overlord, the all splash?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And we talked about how we wished maybe he would incorporate some of those 90s panels again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the jaggedy...
We got our wish, dude. Like this issue is insane. Like he's gone back 90s on a lot of this stuff. Like you start to see it creep in with like this double page here with the red border. Mm-hmm. And as we get deeper and deeper in the book, he's got 90s panels, and there's a reason for that, and we'll discuss it. But I love it. I love, as much as I like the classic look, I feel like it's infusing more excitement back in a little bit. Like I love pendulum swinging. Like, get sick of one version, maybe go back to this version and do more of a classic look. But we've had a lot of classic looking Savage Dragon, and I think it's real fun to see some of these 90s panels again.
Agreed. 100%. That's a huge treat. Just echoing what you said. We, for a long time, the book was like put readability over style. And now we're sort of seeing him go stylish as hell all over again. And I love it, dude. Love the look of this one.
This splash with all the panels, I guess it's page 2 and 3. It's fun. It's really cool. Like you were saying, the design of the characters are cool. It's cool to see these old kids again, like weirdo, cartoony Angel. It's a treat.
Huge mouth.
Sound effects are awesome. We see Glum Planet again. We haven't seen that in a while.
I'd have to double check because my recollection is that Dimension X Angel didn't have the small eyes and big mouth. She had normal eyes and mouth. And it was Savage World Angel that had the small eyes and mouth. I mean, I'm sure it's a stylistic thing, but I always kind of thought that was like the thing that separated them was that the Savage World one was more cartoony in design, and that the original one was more realistic.
Just letting that soak in about what you were saying, Raven too, or was it Jim? I'm not sure which one of you said it, but
we're interchangeable.
Yeah, we sound a lot alike.
Yeah.
Just the flashback and how that feeds into the story, and how now that we're going to be seeing supposedly more Peter Johnson and Mark Johnson and Janie, of just kind of revisiting that. Oh yeah, these guys, because it's hard to remember because we've had so many issues, but these guys were stuck in Dimension X for so long together that they really are close friends. They've known and been with each other more than any other people in their life.
Yeah, we talked about it just a bit on the last episode.
Yeah.
But like in a lot of ways, the book felt just a tiny bit in an Arrested Development, like with Malcolm's cast. And they were key, I would say, missing members of the book fully entering the Malcolm era. Because some of the people he knew the most weren't around.
We would get like just pages and just issues with like one page flash, like, oh, they're still in Dimension X and now they're fighting some other alien and running away. So you'd get a page of them like every 6 issues or something until finally Malcolm made his way back to this dimension. But we saw them, we just didn't get a lot of stories with them. So it's hard to, you don't read about the bonding.
But pretty much too, like in this book, I mean, you had to assume, like I totally assumed, but like Malcolm was keeping those kids alive all those years. Like, and they basically talk about it here. Like Malcolm's like, you guys couldn't fight for shit. Like, dude, Malcolm was a super powered kid. Otherwise, the Johnson twins and Janie and Angel would have been fucking pushing up daisies in Dimension X long ago. So,
right, because probably the Janies maybe the only ones that had powers.
Janie had powers, but I think she was also the youngest.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see her sucking her thumb. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Web powers against Dimension X monsters.
Well, she's also quarter god, so we don't know how strong she actually is. Because she's Radical's daughter.
Good point.
Touche. You shit right down my throat. Thank you.
That's what I work on.
You put me right in my place. I do love this double page spread though of them as adults because like fucking Destroyer, that's my ugly ass boy, dude. He's so cool. And then the web slinger and wall crawler, their web outfits. I love it, dude. It's so awesome.
Dude,
Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I wasn't saying anything of value. Go ahead.
No, you open this double page and it's like, yes, the Vicious Circle's back. You know, like we saw them coming in to Canada last issue, but now we see a double page and they're new and old VC characters and different guys than we saw last issue. Because, you know, last issue I wasn't sure, is that all we're getting, the guys that are in this issue? But, you know, apparently we didn't see in the panels all these additional guys that were also coming in. So it looks like all of the VC is kind of here.
They had buses, plural.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a whole convoy.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some guys we didn't see last issue.
So this issue of Savage Dragon is of a historical note, as it is the first comic book to be published that mentions and references the COVID-19 epidemic.
Oh, true. Yeah, I forgot all about that.
As Angel here goes off on a little tirade about social distancing being out the window, and all these dumb Americans are really playing up their stereotypes.
Yeah, and how they're taking it serious in Canada. Love it, dude. Love when the real world creeps into Savage Dragon. It's a snapshot in the moment. Like, we'll be reading this, hopefully, assuming we all live COVID-20. But, like, we'll be reading this, and we'll be like, oh, yeah, man, remember when we were sheltering at home? You know. I love it. I love it, dude. I love it. I love it.
Should I go through the list of characters we see here for...
I mean, if you're into it.
Shit, yeah.
Well, are you guys into it?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Let's do it.
Listen, all right. I love that you do this homework, so please.
We got Mr. Faces, which is the guy with, like, the faces all over the place, of course. You know, the hands and stuff like that. Is
he new or old?
He's newer.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you, but can you leave it at that?
He can.
Yeah, I didn't even...
fighting Crusader.
I didn't even notice he was biting one of the wall crawler's arms.
It's so good. It's so good, dude.
Yeah. We've got Roadblock, who's getting sprayed by one of the, whoever it is, web slinger or wall crawler. Like he's classic, of course. I'm sure. I think he was... Go ahead.
I said, I'm sure they're interchangeable.
Yeah. We've got Roughneck, of course. We've got Doubleheader in the background there.
Yes.
Our boy.
Still alive.
Still Undermined, who's the green guy with the weird looking like fork designs on his like bald head.
I think he's iconic too.
He is. He's been in a bunch of issues. I think he played a pretty big role in Savage Dragon Destroyer Duck miniseries, or was that a one shot?
One shot.
I just bought that. Cool.
Yeah, he's weird. He's got like these like weird like appendages that are not like, I don't know. They're just like these weird robotic arms and legs. It's strange. I don't really know his powers besides being able to like, I think he can like fry you or something, or zap you or electrocute you. But anyway, always kind of around, but never really focused on. You got Bare Hands, who on the splash we see Angel. She's off screen, but we see her hand, which is kind of a funny name. Goldenrod, which is like the yellowish guy. Shard, of course, we all know Shard. Right. Sickly, which we learn about a lot in this episode.
She's like a witch-looking character.
Yeah, she's all green. Download, he's a classic. Remember, he's got that little like midget guy that's lives inside his chest.
Is he the big red dude?
Yeah, he's like some kind of robot dude, and I think during the gang war issues, like he gets his like chest blown open and you find out it's like some little midget guy in there.
Awesome.
Which is awesome. Insect, you can see her legs kind of on the bottom of the page. Frogman, who shows up on the next page, we'll see. Bile, he's doing that classic Eric thing on the corner of the page where you just see his teeth. And I think Bug Eye is getting punched out by
Destroyer.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, a ton of guys. Oh, and what's the guy who's getting punched? Totally right in front of my face. I didn't write it down.
The guy's in the center, yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Steeljaw.
Is it? No, it's something like that.
Mummy Pants.
God damn it. Right in front of my face.
I know, it's funny, dude.
Ironjaw.
Ironjaw, okay. I knew it was something like that.
It's so funny. I didn't even pay attention to the one guy.
Awesome. Well, thank you, dude. That's an absolutely incredible. And I mean, it's what a treat it is. I think it's cool. I know we're just stuck on the sequence, but I mean, goddamn it, we got to celebrate it because I think it's cool that this sequence builds up from their past fighting together to now here they are in this moment fighting together. And so not only do we get to see a thing that for me, I think has been a long time overdue for the book, really fleshing out Malcolm's cast with characters that are really relevant to his past. But you get this sweet money shot of all these VC guys still out, all the characters still out there kicking ass. So very awesome. Very awesome.
So when you guys were looking at this issue, were you guys having some kind of weird flashbacks or anything?
I was because I didn't read that many Spider-Man comics.
Yeah, I have no Spider-Man experience, listeners. I'm sorry. I'm not a real fan. I'm a fake fan.
Wait, what are you guys talking about? Spider-Man?
Yeah.
I was twitching, and I was reading. I read this episode a couple of times, and I thought the art looked different, and it looked like some of Eric's older stuff, honestly, as I'm going through, and I'm wondering if the listeners had the same experience. Even I don't know, when you look through this, it's just it just looks like old Larson art, and I'm like, God damn, this guy, he's swiping this from something that he did in the past. And I caught one of the references, and I can't remember which page it was now. So I'm messaging Gavin Higginbotham, the Savage Dragon editor, and he's like, oh yeah. He's like, well, check this out, and he's showing me another page, and we'll get to it. But he's like, look at this. This is where it's from. I'm like, oh shit. And he's like, yeah, Eric swiped a bunch of himself. I'm like, okay. I was like, and then I started going through, and I'm like, wait, let me go through and look through some of these past Spider-Mans and stuff. And wouldn't you know, this issue, I don't know how many pages total this one is because it runs a little short because the backup's long, but there's a good 10 or 11 pages which are direct swipes from previous issues that Eric's drawn, and most of them being Amazing Spider-Man and the adjectiveless Spider-Man that he worked on. So as we hit these pages, I will tell you what page it is, and then you guys can go through your comics or whatever, listeners, and check it out. But it was a fun little game to try to guess where it is, and I got them all. Unless there's a few where I don't think they are swipes. So unless I'm wrong, please, readers, write in and tell me I'm wrong and what it's from. But till now, there haven't been any swipes until this page, which is the page with Angel doing the ram punching, I guess it's Frogman, the guy with the tongue. Mm-hmm. So that is an homage, well, not homage, it's a swipe, actually, from Spider-Man number 15, the adjectiveless Spider-Man. It's the one with Spider-Man and Beast that Eric drew. It's a classic issue. It's a one-and-done issue. You guys know that issue at all? Or
Actually, I can say this. That was one of the very few Eric Larson issues I did own. Mm-hmm. And I definitely read it, but I got rid of it a long time ago, and I don't remember anything about it.
Oh, I love that issue. So page 7 of that issue, this is a direct swipe from the panels, the faces, everything is a swipe. The frog guy is actual Beast in it, and I can't remember who there's a woman in there. She's a villain, and she looks like Rapture.
Oh, Powerhouse.
Is it Powerhouse of the lightning powers?
Yeah, I think so. She's like a purple. Yeah. She's like I was gonna say purple Rapture.
She showed up in another issue of Spider-Man before or something. But yeah, I think you are right.
It's very confusing that Rapture-looking character is named Powerhouse.
Yeah.
For a Savage Dragon fan, I'm like, ooh. But I know the one you mean, actually.
So this page and the next three after are all from Spider-Man 15. Adjectiveless Spider-Man 15.
Okay.
The close-ups of like the Mr. Faces is actually a Beast panel.
By the way, I love his like weird teeth.
Yeah,
with the one sharp
pointy.
Yeah, like one sharp one at the top and one sharp one at the bottom. So good. Anyway, keep going.
No, I love that. I love that Undermine. That's the guy I was talking about. See, you can see his appendages now in there. They're kind of those weird, like, bionic arms and legs.
Yeah, like cyborg. Like it's empty, like almost like skeleton.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So, yeah. It's a cool page, though. This still going on about COVID and all that.
And they mentioned, Chicago being bombed with freak out, which was the huge plot development that ran all these guys up here to begin with. On this next page with Sickly, that's where you said this is the first time, even though she debuted in like 115, this is the first time we learned about her power set, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Which is a cool power set. I really like that. It goes good with her name.
Yeah, love it. I also think that is very awesome because unlike a lot of characters who, like, Malcolm just fries them or whatever, here's a character who can immediately go toe-to-toe with Malcolm, and the lightning powers aren't an instant win. And you need all the characters like that you can throw against Malcolm. Any character you can, like, sort of take the lightning win out of his handbook or playbook, that's an awesome addition.
I just knew when I looked at this page, when I saw like Malcolm's face, that this was a swipe from early Larson, because he just doesn't draw like this anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't draw that arm that awkwardly anymore.
Or just the face. And that was actually, this thing is like the big panel and the bottom panel. The characters are just basically almost just colored different, like it's almost dead on. Like, there's obviously some changes, but Malcolm is Beast and Sickly's Powerhouse, and then on the bottom, same thing, like Sickly's Powerhouse and Malcolm's Beast. This is real fun, guys. So for you listeners, like, definitely pull out your issues and compare them. I mean, it's a treat.
Yeah, and I love also, too, if you're a newer reader, like, just to reiterate, like, Eric is constantly doing just experiments like this for no other reason than to challenge and amuse himself. And it is legitimately part of the fun of reading Savage Dragon, and people are always like, ugh. I saw a stupid ass Twitter joke where somebody was like, Savage Dragon 250, Savage Dragon goes shopping online. After all these issues, he must be out of ideas. And I'm like, wrong as fuck. You are wrong. You don't know what you're talking about, dude. Like, as a reader of Savage Dragon, you don't know, like, Eric might just dedicate an issue to the funnies for some reason. Eric might just swipe himself for some reason. Like, you never know what to expect. So it is an absolute part of the reading experience of just the unpredictable experiments, dude. Anyway, sorry. Keep going.
Can I also say welcome back to Savage Dragon Jagged panel line?
Yes, dude. Yes. Yes, I love 90s panel. It's another tool in the toolbox, dude.
Same thing in the next page. We get to see Roughneck again, which is awesome. And that's the same thing, another Spider-Man 15 page. I won't go through it all, but you guys, if you have Spider-Man 15, you will see how cool it is when the matches up. But loving the action on this.
Oh yeah, absolutely fantastic. Like, just composition, fights, seeing all those VC guys in the background duking it out with Malcolm and Angel, Destroyer, and other guy who's instantly less interesting because he's attractive and doesn't have a cool name.
Roughnecks calling him Turbo Teen.
Turbo Teen, that's so good, dude. And I like his little shitty smile with his little tiny teeth. It's so good.
He reinforces that there's a whole bunch of other VC circles waiting to get in the fight. So I love in every panel, web crawler or web slinger is in the background shooting a web out of their vajayjay. Like if you look under Roughneck's arm in the bottom panel.
It's funny, dude. It's a funny visual. It's unique to this book. It's the kind of thing you're not going to get in another title. I think and I love that even though this is a generational title, and so things do move forward. What's awesome is these characters have kids, and that's one of the. I think Widow is one of the coolest visuals and just weirdly unique to Savage Dragon. And now we got the kids doing the same. I love it, dude. I'm so glad that visual got to progress forward with the book.
Absolutely. And then the page after with the jagged panels, man, again, something we haven't seen, I want to say in a decade or more.
In Savage Dragon, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, they retired it. It was the thing is that really early Image kind of brought that shit around. And then they kind of stepped away from their own creation. And I love to see it back, dude.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. This Bare Hands character, which we've caught little glimpses of, we're getting to know more about her. She's a cool visual with just those rock kind of crazy monster hands.
I did catch an error here.
What's that?
Apparently the C Savage Dragon 147 caption is incorrect.
What?
147 is the issue that Dragon gets eaten by virus, and Bare Hands is not in that issue. She is in 146, the issue before. It's the issue where Dragon goes into that freak brothel, and she's one of the hookers there, who mixes up with him. She puts up a pretty good fight. She gets one of Dragon's tooth spit in her face and lives. So, it's pretty tough.
Excellent. I love her visual. I think she kicks ass. I also on this same page.
You're reading the old copy, Jim. The new the
actual fixed? Good.
Yeah.
Sorry, listeners. Behind the curtain, we get an advanced issue. Sometimes there's little snafus like that on our part. But I love when you see Destroyer just knocking the fucking bolts out of Roughneck. Ooh, so good, dude. We were just talking about that.
And again, this page is from Spider-Man 15. This is page 10. So that image of Malcolm leaping is actual Beast in Spider-Man, which is funny. But I saw... go ahead.
I was just going to say, I knew something was up when I saw that weird-ass tackle pose. Because you talk about things he would not do. I don't think he would draw that pose these days.
What, the way Malcolm's flying through there?
Yeah, the way his head is disconnected from his shoulders.
No, that's the legs are the weird thing.
The legs are also not great.
Oh, they're fine. But I'm just saying. I love
it.
It's funny.
I like it. I can tell it's not his current style. The thing that, for me, I thought that this was when I started figuring out these were swipes, I at first thought this was a swipe from his earlier stuff, because Bare Hand's face on that second jaggedy panel underneath Malcolm looks like old Larson to me.
Right.
There's something about it to me look more like old indie Larson. And I was like, this has got to be from one of his older issues. But no, it's from Spider-Man. I mean, not this face. He just redrew it, but the page is a swipe from Spider-Man.
Also, I'm going to say I love whenever the characters that fought Dragon talk about it to Malcolm. Like we saw Powerhouse do that during Walden Wang's pay-per-view, where he's like, oh, I went toe-to-toe with your old man. He ate a lot of cement and got quite the taste for it. Like, I was just thinking, it's so awesome when people are like, dude, I fought your dad and he fucking couldn't beat me. Like, you're not shit. Like, I love it, dude, because it really drives home the generational aspect of this title, dude. I think it's so cool.
Absolutely.
And then Doom. Is that a swipe?
Absolutely. You guys don't recognize that one? I didn't recognize it until this is the first page that Gavin showed me and said, "Hey, check this out," and then told me what it was from. It's actually from issue 10, Jimbo.
Oh, Jimbo the Mighty Lobster.
And it's actually flipped. So that's Malcolm is Dragon, but it was like if you just reversed it, because he was on the right side on the Jimbo issue, and Bare Hands is Jimbo. But yeah, that's the Doom is different, but it's the same word. But the panel below is different, obviously. But the pose in that is, it's Jimbo punching out Dragon.
And in a lot of ways, Bare Hands is trying to prove she's the friggin' motherfucking toughest son of a bitch there is. So it's the same. It's spiritual Jimbo.
How cool is the little panel below? The one with Maxine. It gives you good insight. So she's got the wine bottle or whatever. Mm-hmm. And she's just chilling. And then you see Greta Gearbox kind of dealing with Maddie. Mm-hmm. And then the other kids don't really care. They just want to watch cartoons. I love it.
It's so good, dude. Like characterization in a single panel of like all those characters.
Yeah.
Although I am sad to see Maxine hitting the bottle again.
Yeah, but she has been all along with the hiccups and everything.
I know, but remember we kind of had the whole like plot progression last time. Oh, she doesn't need it for sex. It is kind of different because she's getting tanked watching him fight on TV. So that's kind of progress. We've only ever seen her drunk like for the purposes of intercourse previously. Now it seems like she's kind of like sousing it up to deal with this fight a bit.
Right.
Oh, but dudes, can I just say, like, pour one out for my homie. This is like hitting me as hard as dung. My homie Melvin Belko.
Yeah, but I feel like comics, if you don't see it on screen or on panel.
But dude, he was the poster child for a guy who should die if he ever got hit with freak out.
Yeah, it was
it was just a fucking flying head and a muscular. I'm saying, like, if he got hit with freak out, it's just bleed out.
We get some new reporters from Toronto. I feel like I've seen these reporters before.
Maybe he put his brain in Blinda's body.
She kind of seems like the same weirdo she's always been.
Oh, did we know her?
That's Belko's daughter, dude.
Yeah, but
she's been in.
Really? I don't remember.
Actually,
her.
I think that panel of her is like a stat from the Godland issue.
Yeah, she got kidnapped, and remember they're like, drink the water, and he's like, oh, it's what turned us into freaks, and she's like, gasp.
No, she didn't. That was She-Dragon.
That was She-Dragon.
I'm joking. That was an elaborate joke, just to test your knowledge, and not at all, not at all, and not at all a failure of memory. You passed the test this time.
No, she's definitely been in issues.
She got kidnapped, right?
She was chased by the Uglies Unlimited.
That is pretty funny. She has the exact same facial expression that like her first appearance.
Well, I think it's just a copy of it.
That makes sense.
The same thing with Melvin Belko. I think on this, at one page, Eric posted on Facebook this page, and those two panels were like missing. And he was like, "Oh, some of those. It's like one of those pages where you'll never sell or something to that effect, or no one will ever want because it was just like 3 panels, and 2 of them were blank.
3 stat shots and 3 panels, you know."
Yeah. So, but
you see this unfortunate ass security guard.
Wrong place at the wrong time.
What's the name of the facility he's in? The lab that Gentech?
Yeah, I think he's at a Gene Tech lab. And I love these kids. And this is an awesome ass splash page.
I don't think this is a swipe. If the readers think it is, let me know what it's from. But I don't think so.
Lawson and Dumpling are like they're like the anti-web crawler and wall slinger.
True.
Like, see, they're just like sort of shit globbing around. Love it.
That's awesome. Just the like kinetic energy or something. Like you can just see it. Like,
yeah. So
I I always love Eric's technology when he has those like glowing ball things.
Mm-hmm. You love Eric's balls?
I love his glowing ball things.
Artfully dodged. Artfully dodged. Yeah, dude, I think everything on this is beautiful. Like the shadow in the center of the like octopus beak.
Well, somehow he's got his little octopus now.
Yeah. Whatever they did in this lab mutated him or did something to give him almost identical octopus as his father.
The old gut parasite.
I guess this was the purpose of their journey too, because they were talking in the last car, like, you know.
Yeah, that's what
yours.
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah, and this was their goal.
You'll be one of us. Because he was bitching about being a normal dude.
Being normal sucks. Let's graft this weird tentacle freak to my belly.
You could always have shit powers.
I know, right? I guess it could always be worse.
You could be a shit golem. That's terrible.
But man, they're going hard against this one security guard.
Well, initiation rates. You got to kill somebody.
I think that is probably more badass than we ever saw anything Octopus did. Yep. We never saw Octopus rip a fucking guy in half.
I don't think so.
Yeah, this is like badass, dude.
This must be a swipe of a Sinister Six story.
I looked. I couldn't find anything for this one. So
really?
Again, if listeners out there know what this is from, let me know. I mean, it seems like it, even with the panel layouts, like it should be from something, but...
Probably would remember Otto Octavius ripping a guy in half, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think...
But he might not... It doesn't necessarily mean he was ripping someone in half. I mean, it could be swiped and something else is actually happening in the original, you know? But don't ask me what, because I do not know.
I like these. I like these kids. I like their expressions. I like this little like sequence of like face shots. You know, the Eric Larson full panel face, like where a whole panel is just a face.
Yeah, dude, Blossom and Dumpling are freaking hideous
also,
with their like skull teeth.
Where'd they get those teeth? They steal those teeth?
It's corn.
See, that would make more sense.
Do you think under this shit they're like a skeleton?
Maybe.
Because there's teeth. The teeth imply that.
Maybe they're made of people.
Dumpling is made of people. People.
Wow. That's a vile. That made them, I don't know why, but the presence of a skeleton made them more vile to me.
What if the shit slops off and you start to see the skeleton underneath?
Dude, or they get hit so hard, it's just like fucking bones and then there's like shit flying everywhere.
Ugh.
Awesome. I love that even the panel where you get to see like Waylon, like he's walking away on his octopus. He like doesn't even want to walk. He wants to just use his like new octopus legs and like they're all just sort of sculpted
away. Here's a
dumb
theory. Maybe they're actually the flies that fly around them. The flies are like controlling the shit.
That would be some Abner Cadaver shit right there. I think Dart is awesome, and I love this panel, and I love this sequence, because, again, it's sweet, sweet Savage Dragon history for new readers, tucked into the story in a way that logically makes sense, and also gives Dart a moment of awesome... Like, she's so goddamn badass in this scene, and I love that she's basically dropping, like, exposition and history, but also it perfectly fits this moment and sells her as a goddamn badass.
I mean, in a way, she's doing what Sagetti couldn't do, killing his competition with no powers.
Right.
She doesn't need a suit of armor to roll with these guys, to command respect, or murder all these fools.
She's doing exactly what he did to Dragon with this Kingpin character.
Kicking him the fuck out.
Building. Yeah, and what is it like? What does she say? It's almost similar to what in issue 7, what Overlord says. Let me see. Oh, so in issue 7, when Overlord kicks Dragon out.
Oh, you're right. He does say
like,
almost
in your
the
next
same
life, when someone suggests you leave or face their wrath, leave. And she's like, please, in your next life, think ahead. It's very eerily similar.
You're right, dude. I didn't even catch that. Good catch. I love her crazy eyes too. Like before she's like, the middle panel of that strip.
Yeah. So you guys didn't catch that panel with the kick though? You don't remember seeing that?
No, dude. Where's that from?
That totally showed up. And when I saw that, I'm like, I've seen this before because I remember that pose and I remember being like commenting on how badass that kick looked. Like Gary's got this thing where he can just always come up with different angles of things that you've never seen. We're talking 250 issues. Obviously, this one's a swipe from something previous, but just the fact that he can come up with all these different moves and angles and make it look badass. And this kick showed up in Savage Dragon 204, and it was Dart kicking Killcat, but Killcat wasn't in costume, and he was wearing that This Girl Has Bieber Fever shirt with his like flannel shirt on.
Awesome.
But it's the same panel, and then the same panel structure is copied from that issue, except for it doesn't have the big like pink borders around the panels, but the kick, it showed up in 204, and instead of that Kingpin guy, it was Killcat.
Is the structure of the strips up the side mirrored in any way? Or is it all new?
Not inside the strip, besides her face in the third panel. But the actual size of the panels are all the same.
Okay, all right.
They just don't have the pink border in the original one.
Jim, I think you were saying something.
I was just going to say, I realize now that you keep saying Kingpin that this character is supposed to sort of represent Kingpin.
Oh, absolutely.
Being an aging fat man who's also bald and wearing white.
Yeah.
And the weird pink stripy pants and yellow. I mean, how can it not be?
He deserved to die. Oof. Atrocious dresser.
It's an aging fat man with equally out of shape, quote unquote, muscle. Because they always try to make Kingpin like, oh, he's all muscle. He's not fat.
Oh, I see. See, I thought she was just talking about his henchmen, but I guess that makes more sense. I mean, she's probably talking about his henchmen, but
maybe.
But she's alluding to that whole it's all muscle thing the pink Kingpin has going on.
Yeah. That's how I took it.
That's great, dude. That's a killer catch. I didn't see that. I want to say also, too, we've been saying swipe a lot, but one Mr. Ed Pisker has been sort of popularizing the notion that it's not such a negative thing as long as you embrace and acknowledge it. He calls it sampling like a DJ.
But it's even
call
less
it a
of
remix.
Yeah, but he's swiping himself, so does
Swiping
that even
himself.
really count?
Well, yeah, but
I mean,
swipe has connotations with theft, so I think calling it a
it's not really a swipe.
A repeat or a remix or a
sample,
a resample.
He's sampling.
I'm saying swipe for lack of a better term because it's not an homage as much as it's pretty much copying the figure dead on and just changing.
It's not an homage because it is such a close. Probably to the point where it is. I highly doubt he's eyeballing it. He probably is.
No, he's not eyeballing it.
He's definitely light boxing it.
Yeah,
right. At least to get the general shape right. The same.
Sure. Well, especially, I mean, that's the goal of the exercise is like, to mirror the thing. Sample, dude. I think sample works in this instance. Like he's sampling himself. So is this next page a sample?
Absolutely.
It has to be, dude. It's got to be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Am I right? Okay.
Yep. It's Amazing Spider-Man 349.
Okay.
Basically, that Spider-Man is that web crawler, and that's the only thing that's basically swiped dead on besides the panel structure.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a cool page because this is like something weird going on here. I love how all the villains are like tangled in webs. All the vicious circle goons.
Dude, that's such a great visual. Even her mom never got that moment, I don't think.
No.
Like, it was never implied that her mom would, like, keep bad guys tangled up in a web for law enforcement to arrive and deal with. It's cool.
I mean, she was an SOS member, right?
But you never saw it, though, is what I'm saying. Like, we're getting to see this. Like, you would assume, but you still never got to see it.
No,
you know what I mean?
no. It's a cool visual, too.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I love that spaghetti webbing.
And then what's up with bare hands? This is kind of a funny little panel, and I don't know if it's nothing or if it's something more, if I'm reading more into it. I don't know. It's just weird. She's like running into the car, and I guess our kid's yelling in the back seat or front. I don't know what seat, but
I think her kid might be her getaway driver.
Yeah, dude. That's why I took it too. Like, Bare Hands is out there kicking ass, and the kids are like, "Come on, Mom." It's like, oh yeah, she'll be right there. Boom.
Or did she just park the car and be like, "Wait for me, kids, I'll be back"? You got to serve up some revenge.
I think it's a case of remember, they all drove to Toronto on buses, and I think maybe the plan was to get here and then kind of disperse, but they got caught up in the fight. So I think this just might be her ride. Like, whatever connection she had to, like, hide herself. Or
I do think it's cool, though, because I think it kind of acknowledges, like, we've seen, like, and this issue focuses on the next generation of the Vicious Circle, but it's also obvious, like, of course everyone else in the Vicious Circle has a life and is doing things, and it's kind of cool that Bare Hands has kids. We don't know if they're old, we don't know if they're young, we can't see them, like, there's no real, and she fought Dragon's kids, so technically her kids could be teenagers or better, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. I think it's kind of like one of those things, like you said, Craig, how Octopus had sort of built up to a reveal. Like, will she have normal kids? Are they also going to be VC goons? Like, were they just waiting to be a getaway? Were they waiting because they have no powers?
Is this nothing that will never be touched on ever again?
Right.
Are we never... Did Eric need a female character for this swipe? And she was just on the docket.
Yeah, well, these panels are not swiped in any way.
Oh, they're not.
It's just the panel structure. The only thing that's really swiped on this page,
Spider-Man,
besides
pose.
The panel structure, is a Spider-Man pose.
Oh, okay. I see.
I want to mention how crazy Bare Hands' costume is, or her design is.
Well, she also has bare feet.
Yeah, it's like tattered up, like I don't know, lingerie a la like Rapture kind of, and bare feet and her stone hands, but no like costume whatsoever.
I have this weird idea that she has to be semi-naked for her powers to work. Like, what if she's like absorbing the concrete in the ground to make her rock hands?
I don't know, maybe.
Oh, that's some Robert Kirkman shit right there, Jim. That's some Robert Kirkman shit, dude. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good solution.
She just runs over like grass and her hands turn to dirt or something.
Right. Well, didn't you guys say that she debuted fighting, or where she was
she was in a brothel, but she also had rock hands, so my theory already has holes in it.
Well, I'm just saying, well, no, I wasn't going to say that. I said that's kind of the, like, thing behind her tattered, like, swimsuit costume.
Right.
She's dressed like, a hooker, so.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true.
How many hookers we have bare feet, though?
Wear bare feet?
I mean, if they were freaks. If they were super-powered freaks, probably a lot more.
Oh, I thought you were just saying if they were freaks, like meaning if they were freaky.
If they were freaks. I mean, some people like to get stabbed in the toes by, like, debris. Who knows? That's their kink. Not going to kink shame. Sorry.
You know what the worst is, though? She's, like, got bare feet in the city. You ever see someone walking around a city with bare feet? It's so gross.
I don't.
I've seen it.
I've seen it. First of all, how is it gross? I think of it more as dangerous.
Because the city is ground's dirty. Yeah.
Right, but all ground is dirty.
Like, if you walk around a city, it smells like
sidewalks
shit.
in the city.
I would be afraid of stepping on a needle, or broken glass, or any number of things. Not so much that, there's bad stuff to step on. It's just, it's not gross. It's just dangerous.
There's like loogies on the sidewalk.
Yeah, okay, listen. Let me tell you a story. The story is people fucking worry about that shit too much. Your dermis is fucking armor against that shit. You don't need to worry about spit or even urine.
It doesn't matter if
shit.
you don't have to worry about it. It's still gross.
Yeah, fuck. It doesn't matter. Just wash your feet.
Like put some shoes on.
Yeah, but then your feet have the same shit on them. It doesn't make you any cleaner.
Jim, I'm getting strong Charlie Day vibes from you. Do you wander around the sewers naked?
No, I don't. I just saying because I am aware.
Quote that
I am aware of the dangers of cutting my feet open on sharp things that I wear shoes. But if you're comfortable, if you've got like really like what's the word? Calloused feet, it's just like shoes. You don't need to wear shoes. Not really.
If your thick calluses squish into a big dog turd, you're going to be mad.
Yeah, but
I'm going to be
it's
mad
not going to
too.
kill you.
I don't think that's what my point, though. It's just gross.
But it's just not gross.
Take your Huck Finn feet and go in the house.
How do I explain this? If you step in a dog turd with a shoe, it's harder to clean than your foot. So
yeah, but it didn't get on your foot.
It's actually more gross to step on it with the shoe because it gets into the fucking plastic and the little patterns in the bottom. You got to dig it out with a fucking stick.
So if Jim and me are walking in the city and he sees a dog turd, he's going to whip his shoe off real quick so he can step in it barefoot.
Hey, I would not be
pissed?
afraid to do so on a dare.
Would you rather you wear a poncho and someone piss on you, or someone piss on you with no shirt on?
I mean, neither are ideal, but reality
but
is...
either is stepping in dog shit.
As long as it doesn't go in my mouth, there's no difference.
Listen, mister, I'm
no
about
difference.
I'm about to destroy your theory. Do you know why? As a kid in West Virginia, we used to play barefooted in the yard.
Right? And you all got lockjaw, yeah.
Nope. We all played barefooted in the yard. One of the kids was just running around and got dog shit in it and stepped in it. Like, oh, I got dog shit. So they ran down the creek, washed their feet off, right? And then kept playing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no harm, no foul, right? Wrong. Kid got worms.
No.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, worms are a threat, so I'll give you worms.
Touche.
Wait, what happened? What happened when he got worms?
But his mistake was washing it in the unsanitary creek. He should have used a hose and soap.
I think stepping in the dog shit was the mistake.
No, it was
West Virginia kids.
It was washing it in the creek.
Dog shit on your skin is gross and dangerous. Don't do it, listeners. If you're a listener, I do not endorse this behavior. That's on Jim.
I would much rather step in piss, spit, cigarette butts with a shoe on than barefoot.
Big time, dude. Big time.
Even if I had giant callous hobbit feet.
Yep.
Cowards.
These are the most weeds we've ever been in. People are wondering if we're smoking weed at this point. We're lost in the weeds like crazy. Yes.
Anyway, we're talking about a comic strip where people run around with their exposed vaginas, getting debris in them.
Shooting debris.
So I guess bare feet aren't that hard to believe.
Do you think bare hands ever jerked someone off with their stone hands?
I mean, I think that's her entire gimmick.
Yeah, maybe, lava. A guy with lava powers, right?
What about that roadblock guy?
Or Shard? You got to imagine his dick needs special,
that's perfect for that.
She's
dude.
Highly specialized.
That's right. I'm glad I could bring this back to Savage.
Breaking off that little shardy dick.
Uh-huh. That's it. And it shoots like glass.
No, sand.
Oh, sand? Okay, I'll agree with that. It's perfect. Yeah, but I would imagine that there is absolutely a need for her skill set with those hands. 100%. Yeah. So it's actually not just a cool visual. It makes sense.
Can I say one thing about this page before we leave it?
Yes.
I absolutely love when Eric draws little seams on gloves. Seams on gloves.
See, and that's how do I start this conversation?
Oh no, he's gonna totally shit on it.
No.
I can hear it.
I love it, but remember, Eric's a guy who shits on costumes that have like piping and shit on them.
Right. No, I knew you were gonna say this.
But on his gloves, I guess it's cool.
I knew you were gonna say this when Craig brought it up. I knew you were gonna say, "Oh, but doesn't Eric hate seams and zippers?"
I could picture his mouth getting twitchy
and stitching. Well, I don't know. What was it? A swipe? Ask Craig. Craig, were the seams in the swipe?
No, he said the panels were different.
The panels were different.
The panels were swipes, but not what's in them.
Oh, there's John Day in this panel too.
He's driving a Volkswagen bus. That was literally what I wanted to say.
Is that a Volkswagen bus or a giant toaster?
Look at the swipe. Look at the swoosh over the headlight.
He's very well dressed for a VW bus.
He's not a dirty hippie.
He just drives a dirty hippie mobile.
Exactly. Brackabadoom, my dude.
Bram.
This is a really good one. I love that. Love it.
Is this a remix?
Yes.
Who's the Ben Grimm character in the middle? In the original?
In
the original.
Thor.
Oh, cool. All right. Nice.
Savage Dragon 109.
Oh, this is a Savage Dragon swipe. Nice, dude.
Yeah,
Wait, so what is it? Dragon and Jennifer?
Yeah.
Nice, dude. That's cool.
This was like this one, I guess, in the Jimbo are the only other Savage Dragon swipes.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. I like that. I think I think Angel sort of just popping in that Frank tidbit's weird in the moment.
Well, she didn't have time to tell him until the battle was over. Because remember, the last issue ends with the battle starting.
Mm-hmm. Just feels weird is all. Like, just to say it right there. One more thing.
She's elated. She's really high on adrenaline.
The funny thing is, in 109, so yeah, it's Jennifer and Dragon punching Thor, and then that bottom panel, which the panels are exactly the same. Old Angel in the original is actual Kid Angel in the same exact pose.
Ah, that's cool. That's cool, dude. What a cool Easter egg. That's neat.
Yep.
I like it. Guys, it has to be my favorite page in this issue. I knew I knew the next page. I knew we were going to get some squirmy readers when we got to this scene here. I love it. It's so funny. You know what I'm talking about. Don't pretend you don't like it.
The web crawler one, it's like, really? We gotta do this?
Yes,
really?
Dude.
Well, I gotta say, at least the guys aren't into it.
Of course, it's weirder. Like Malcolm says, if you start, I really don't want to see it. I love it, dude. It's so funny.
I mean, they're brothers, so that makes sense that they wouldn't be into it.
These two are technically the same person.
Yeah, it's less skeevy.
So here's what's so funny.
Weird.
Here's what's so funny. So there's actually a hentai term for this. Are you ready for it?
What?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
It's so specific.
Yeah, no, but listen.
Well,
dude, there is.
And that you know it is funny.
Yes, dude.
Well, I also know it. It's a tag. You gotta say it again, right?
Self-cessed.
That's our title, right, guys?
Self-cessed is the title.
Self-cessed?
Yeah, dude.
And I bet you guys actually know the Japanese term.
No.
I don't think there is one.
No. It's just a tag so you can filter it out.
This happens in other books that much that there's actually a term for that?
Well, it happens in certain types of books.
Situations.
There's an entire industry of sex comics that cater to all desires.
And I told you the thing is if you ever think Savage Dragon's kinky, it's like, no, dude, there's a million kinkier things out there. Just calm down. You know, in your little white bread world, this might blow your mind, but it just cracks me up. Also, too, this was always the joke about, like, if you made out with your clones. Now, these are not really clones. These are alternate dimension versions.
They are duplicates.
Right. But the joke was always, if you made out with your clone, would it be masturbation?
No, is it right? Is it masturbation or incest?
Ugh.
Right.
I don't ever want to make out with my clone.
Good.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Some people would, dude. My coworker, I used to watch her stare into her phone and blow kisses at herself. I'm not even joking. She was one of those, like, e-girl types. And,
what's that?
Oh, for listeners that might not know. Like,
or your co-host.
Yeah, or my co-host. Girls that sell selfies and pictures to strangers on the internet, right? Not necessarily porn, usually just like them posing alone being sexy, right? And this girl, my coworker, would
pre-Instagram before they started giving that away for free.
Right. Well, she would stare at herself and blow kisses and everything else. And I looked at her one day and I said, do you really I said, is that like for someone? Like, is that going to someone? Or I said, are you really blowing kisses to yourself? And she's like, I'm hot as fuck. I love me. I'm like, God damn, dude, you are vain. But
was she?
Yeah, I think she would, dude. I'm just saying, like, there are people who are really actually into themselves. And it cracks me up. This like whole development here in Savage Dragon. I never saw it coming, dude. It's so funny.
I'm not gonna lie, I totally saw this coming. This seemed like when they did the merging of the multiverse, it was literally the first thing I thought of. What is going to be the deal with Janie? Because she is like the one case of a duplication, and do they both have their own memories? And they do. And obviously, once that happens, it just goes the next step. And considering how much sex is in this book now, it just seemed completely obvious to me.
But
I didn't think it was going to happen, dude. I just didn't.
Savage Dragon's got the horniest characters in the history of comic books.
Very horny lately.
Like, they never can just wait. Like, they're in the middle of public all the time. Like, just
look how they're dressed, bro. They don't give a shit.
See,
but it's not even them. It's all the characters. It's like, really? All right.
Okay, the brothers aren't. So how about that? Touche.
There's my straw man. Here you go.
I shit down your throat.
Wait till the next page too, and it's like, what? Everybody's like going ape shit. Like, I don't know.
Look, you're not.
It's a little much
You're not
for me.
Superhuman. You're not horny 24/7 like they are.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's okay.
I guess it's like athletes at the Olympics.
Exactly.
Right?
That was going to be my next, my very next statement. Healthy, athletic people are horny as fuck. It seems. Yeah. It seems to be the case.
Well, also too. I'm sorry, but like, let's be frank. If we're ugly, normal humans, and we are, I mean, everyone of us are, and so it's real easy for us because like eroticism has been largely relegated to like the areas it typically is, the bedroom, relationships, etc. Dude, can I tell you that like I definitely have known people who were like super hot, both male and female, and they tend to just, it's not relegated to one place, and they do whatever they want whenever they want. It's part of their like ego. I knew a couple that was having a sex contest with another couple, and they were just trying to get it on as many places as they could and outdo each other. And I'm just telling you that, like, if you think that this is outrageous,
are you telling me those comics are real life?
I'm just saying, like, I get it that, like, if for a lot of us, me certainly, like, for a lot of us,
I'm just hurt that you don't think I'm super hot.
You're ugly.
I'm really hurt. All this time, I thought your opinion of me was that I was super hot, and you just laid it all out.
I literally have no idea what you look like.
I'm super hot.
How do you not? Did you say I'm super hot? Do you blow kisses into your selfies?
Yes.
So you would commit self-cest.
I actually look like Peter Johnson. That's why I'm so obsessed with him.
If you met Duplicate Craig?
If I met Duplicate Craig, I would dock.
Over the top. Deep. Over the top, my dudes. Obviously, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's funny. I think Malcolm and them, talking about, it's so funny that, like, he's like, hey, do we have a few more times? Like, Angel's like, yeah, we got a few more times before we go down the aisle.
That is a weird conversation to have right after you were told that you're getting married.
Well, it's kind of funny because it's like they are going, you assume, to cut it off when they get married.
No, why wouldn't you cut it off once you're in a serious relationship? Frank probably doesn't know what's going on.
Well, that's interesting. Like I said, this could be a plot thing. You don't know if Frank knows. Like, you have no idea what Frank knows, right? Like, Frank knows that Maxine and Malcolm, like, are freaks. But, like, has Angel talked?
Frank probably knows that Jack is Angel's kid. And that's about it.
I mean, do you think he knows that, like, Angel and Malcolm fucked?
Well,
probably not.
If he knows Jack is Angel's kid, then yes.
Oh yeah,
and just, that seems like a very obvious.
He's got to.
An obvious thing to know if you're in this clique, because everyone knows in the inner circle.
Well, he probably does know. You're right. I mean, how couldn't he? If she's gonna try and start a light with him, I'm sure she was
like
honest.
telling the kids that.
You're right.
Whose mothers who?
Right.
So she's like open about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about the blabbing to the kids scene. Yeah, Angel's super loose with everything. Yeah, she was even like, your mommies and daddies all rolled around in a sweaty pile. Yeah, she's told Frank Jr. All right, shit. I don't know what I was thinking, guys. I think it's a funny conversation anyway.
But I don't think she's told Frank she's still sleeping with Malcolm and Maxine.
No way he doesn't know.
I don't know.
No way.
That seems like the kind of thing you wouldn't tell your fiancé.
You would.
Yeah, who knows?
I will say this. I mean, listen, guys, we're all older, and
Wait, you think I'm older?
you're old.
You're a little bolder.
You're old and ugly. No, listen, self-cessed. All I'm saying is this: a lot of young people have completely different ideas about like we've not even talked about polyamory. We've not talked about there's a lot.
Bestiality.
I'm just saying, people's ideas about sexuality are pretty different and open compared to what they used to be. I think
guys, people are just more open about it now.
Yeah, probably. That's a funny thing, Jim. Is it probably always was this way?
Just the internet.
No, not even the internet. I just think people are more open about it in general because they see more people being open about it, and it makes people more comfortable about it.
Guys, I'm
goddamn liberals.
It's been on an upward swing since the 60s.
I'm going to tell you the truth. It's funny you said swing. I'm telling you that, I'm just saying life is crazier than what even fiction is. I used to eat pizza at this one place.
It's a good story because it starts with pizza.
It is, dude. Listen, I get a good. This is crazy.
I've seen this movie.
I used to eat pizza at this one place all the time, and I went and I saw that guy after I had a huge breakup, and he was like, "Oh my god, dude, I'm so sorry." And
wait,
I was
what
like,
guy is this?
This is the guy that works at the pizza. This guy works at the pizza.
Did he have a mustache and a pizza hat?
Hat, yes. Mustache, no.
Oh.
It's not not real pizza.
So at any rate, hold on. So I'm telling this guy my sad story. I'm like, I broke up with, my girl, and it's really I'm super bummed, and I don't know what's going to happen to me and all this stuff.
That's too bad, a Raven.
Do you know what he says?
Is that how he said it?
Fuck the pizza dough, Raven.
Listen to what he says. He goes, "Oh man, it's a shame I'm not with my ex. My ex-wife. Otherwise, I'd let you, bang her for a while." And I laughed, and he goes, "I'm not joking. We're swingers."
Why are you laughing?
Yeah, he was super serious. He's like, "I'm not laughing. We're He's like, "I'm not joking. We're swingers." He's like, "I'm just not with her now." He's like, "But yeah, totally." I'm just like, I was like, "Oh, oh." I really got those tips, those $5 tips were really paying off in that moment.
That's crazy.
So I'm just saying,
similar stories, but not fit for FINcasting.
Life's crazy is all I'm saying.
As the Dutch say, living la vida loca.
Craig did fuck his pizza man's wife.
No, the pizza man.
The pizza
for extra pepperoni.
He gave you that extra pepperoni.
Yeah. Extra pepperoni for me, extra pepperoni for you. The tip.
I like
just the tip.
Are you really upset about this, Craig? This page, and the next page.
Am I upset about it? I'm not upset about it. I'm just, I'm not upset about it. I just I feel like it's too much. Every character is got to be super horny in public and stuff, and it's just
I agree with Craig in principle.
Oh, I have to hear
it's always a catch. It's never just agree.
Elaborate.
Yeah. What's the catch?
If you step on dog shit barefoot, it's cleaner in a way.
In principle. But not totally.
My constant complaints about exposed vaginas is part of that, where it doesn't really make sense for this to be as public as it is. It's a little bit too unbelievable. It hurts my suspension of disbelief in this superhero comic where people punch people's heads off.
I'm listening without judgment. You go ahead.
You wanna say something though?
Nope. You have the floor, Mr. Purcell. Please continue.
No, that's it. That's basically the end.
So that's your whole issue. Is you just find it hard to believe?
I find it hard to believe people go around without underwear and fight supervillains. while not wearing underwear.
Do I really live that crazier a life than you guys? I swear I run into this kind of crazy shit. Dude, I've seen so much crazy shit. This is nothing. Are you serious?
That's not for. So my issue is it's kind of like Maxine's shtick. Now we've got like it's kind of weird now. Another group is super crazy like that.
It's not a group. It's just the Janies.
I know, but it's just weird. It's like
Maxine's is even weirder because who wants to watch their parents have sex?
That is some next level weird.
That's next page. You're jumping ahead.
Oh, I thought that's what we were talking about was these 2 pages in tandem.
All right. Well, then before we get onto that next page, one quick thing. This page is a swipe from Amazing Spider-Man 346, where Malcolm is actual Peter Parker on that big close-up of Malcolm, which looks a little off. It doesn't look like a typical Malcolm look, I feel like.
He's a little bit more smooth. Svelte.
Yeah, that's Peter Parker on the original page. So that's
346. Who was groping who in that comic?
Yeah, I was gonna say who's
actually the top 3
in that
panels. One. The top 3 panels are almost dead on Peter Parker talking to MJ, and the bottom 3 panels are new in Savage Dragon. They're not swipes. The panels are the same, but yeah, it's actually Otto Octavius and the Hobgoblin.
Hot.
Finger banging.
Nice, dude. Nice.
It's just nothing.
I should have been reading it. Spider-Man, dude. I need to go back. I don't know what I was missing. I have no problems with any of this. I even think Maxine watching her mom and Kevin bang is fine because
you're a sick, perverted bastard.
So is Maxine. So everything checks out.
Yeah. You don't have to explain. I know. Thanks.
That's it. Okay. Sure. No, I'm just saying, like, it's fine. So wait a minute. I'm sorry. I got to go back to this addendum.
No, we already.
All right, we'll move on. We'll move on.
What? Go ahead.
No, we will move on. I do.
No,
think
I know. You brought it up. I don't want to move on.
I really do think we should. I think we've talked too long. You know what? I really like this panel of Maxine. Did you say that was MJ in the original one? Okay,
yes.
Very cool. I love just the way it looks, and I think it's hilarious, the meta commentary, like where she's like, "This is the grossest, craziest, sexiest thing I've ever seen in my life," and I've read Savage Dragon 228.
Wait a minute, has May had her baby yet?
Yeah, it's normal. Remember?
Oh, right.
We just never see it.
Okay.
Because it's boring. It's normal. Dude, if we don't see Dixie, we ain't never seeing May's baby. You know what I'm saying? Dixie's legit interesting. Hortus's baby? If we don't see Dixie, we ain't never seeing Kevin's boring ass. Like, the baby's not even blue. Nothing cool about it at all. Sorry. Keep going.
This page is actually from Spider-Man 15, like the first 4 pages.
Mm-hmm.
And although it's not a dead-on like swipe from MJ, but it is MJ's kind of big close-up on that panel.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I was going to say is all the panels look the same, and the people are like positioned the same on both the old Spider-Man 15 issue and this, but we never get the whole like blacked out background anymore like you see on this page. It's, the little panels and like half the page is like really just black.
Right. Was that in the original?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is something you don't really see in Savage Dragon. I like the effect myself.
This whole issue, I mean, honestly, for like a decade, I feel like now or more, the panels have been real traditional. And to get all of these, even though they are swipes, it's fun to see again, to see them show up.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It makes me miss it. I hope we get more of it.
Yeah, if it's something he just wants to like experiment with and like go crazy and have in the book, fuck yeah, dude. Fucking A. I got no complaints with it. So I think it's good. I think it's interesting. I think Maxine brings up a funny, like a concern where, like, you know, she's vulnerable to COVID and is stuck at home. Malcolm gets to come and go as he pleases. You know, she's dissatisfied. I like that. I like the meta commentary where she's talking about Savage Dragon 228 again, which is just hilarious to me that, like, their comic was just as dirty in the comic as it was in reality. So,
which I find hard to believe with that much editorial oversight.
You never know, dude.
So this is the thing, though, that I'm kind of like, and I know, Raven, you're going to think I'm some prude or something.
Nope.
But I just feel like it's so heavy-handed now on the sex. And I'm just not as interested in it. Like, it's funny here and there. But then, you know, this issue, you get the scene with the Janey twins. And then, next page. Like the parents doing a porno. And, like, what purpose does it serve for the story to advance the story? I feel like not really that much. I feel like we've already got that hypersexualized character in Maxine. Why does everybody have to have that? Like, it's funny once here and there, but for me, I don't know. I'm just not looking for that all the time, and I feel like it's just too much.
I think Eric is trying to imply that Malcolm is a celebrity,
mm-hmm.
and the people around him, by proxy, become celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a certain, like, component to that. Like, sex tapes are things celebrities make. And so Kevin is Malcolm's brother. May is Malcolm's mother-in-law. So it almost makes sense that would be an opportunity for them. It just, to me, it seems like a weird thing that May would agree to. But then again, I think part of the story of May right now is that since her husband died, she's been loosening up a bit.
Additionally, they are stuck at home with isolation.
Right.
We don't know what their jobs were.
Right.
And another thing plucked from the headlines of reality, and it was a running joke on social media, on Twitter, is that everybody OnlyFans accounts started popping up everywhere. And it was so rampant that people were making fun of the fact that you had clearly people who had no plans to open an OnlyFans, have never done anything like that before, that suddenly were taking, like, dirty pictures and, you know, charging for it. And it was a real reaction to being isolated. It was an actual thing that happened, so much so that it was like a trending joke. There were memes about it. So you never know. This could have been just plucked from the headline. Like, May and Kevin are, like, trying to, like, just cash in because they're stuck at home and they want some extra dough. I'm just saying he could have plucked it from that, because that was a legit thing that actually happened.
Right.
Well, I will say that you're not alone, Craig. I see the comments, and I know that people do not love it. And so I feel sorry for them that I am finally getting what I like after all these years, and they are not. And that sucks to be you, I guess. I hope it never goes away.
Craig, I don't think you're wrong to dislike it.
It's fine. I don't either. By the way, for the record, I don't think anybody is wrong.
And I don't think you're prudish for disliking it.
Oh, I do.
Yes, well.
I feel judged by Raven.
I am. You are.
I don't mind it here and there. Like I said, I just feel like it's too much. Like, it's too, like...
What would be for you? I'm not being shitty here. What would you actually consider to be a normal pace? Like, clearly,
I just feel like every female character is, like, overly horny.
I agree with that. I believe there's been quite the disparity between men and women in horniness in this comic.
Which seems weird, because you would think it would be the opposite, but...
May's not fucking herself in that panel.
Right.
You don't think Thunderhead's horny too?
You're missing the point again, Raven.
I'm asking a question. I'm not missing the point. I'm saying, like, every female character's horny. Like, dudes, there's dudes there. Like, Malcolm was, like, not, like, alone. Like, in fact, Malcolm's been more subdued than, like, Maxine.
Right.
But she's more the aggressor.
She's the aggressor. Right. Malcolm goes along with it. Malcolm's a pushover when it comes to this. And that's because, yes, men are horny. But he's not initiating it. He's happy to be with one woman. She's not happy to be with one man. But he goes along with it for her.
He's even said he's not into things that Maxine isn't into.
Right.
Like, even Angel's been more of the aggressor.
But yeah, Angel, Alex, fucking Jennifer, they were all thirsty for fucking Michael.
Yeah, that's true. Like, you just see it way more on the women characters. It seems weird.
And to be fair, that does go all the way back to the days of Rapture and...
Especially, like, 20-something-year-old dudes or teenage dudes are, like, crazy horn dogs, and they don't really have a character that's like that.
It just doesn't play that well to have horny guys. It's, like, not a thing that plays well.
Well, you're right. It doesn't play well.
It plays grosser.
But I say it plays worse when it's just all your women. Because
and it's like everyone.
And especially because the book's written by a man.
Alex was horny for Dragon, and Malcolm was the closest, or not Malcolm, Michael was the closest thing to Dragon.
Yeah, but Dragon was a player.
Right. He was way into it.
He was like, that was his character. He was a ladies' man.
And you had no problem with that.
Right, but he was also, he also was dedicated to one woman at a time. He never had multiple partners.
See, I don't have any problem with any of it. I just feel like it seems like I'm hit over the head with like too many. Every single female character is like a little over the top with it. And it's just like, all right, one character, Maxine, being over the top, it's all right. But like, I don't need to see every issue having multiple characters that just want to finger bang or... I don't know. I just, it's enough. Like, I get it. Like, I'd be fine with Maxine, like, every 3 issues or whatever it is. But, like, it's too much. I don't know. Now I'm getting stern, guys. I'm getting upset. No, I'm just kidding. No.
I don't get sterner, Jim. Did you say get sterner?
I will enjoy this book either way. It's not going to hurt my enjoyment of it. It's just... Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind if it toned down a little bit.
My opinion is it isn't equal opportunity enough. I've been pissing and moaning about not enough dicks for this very reason.
Title of the FINcast.
Not enough dicks. There have been a lot of good titles for this one. So, okay, I'm trying to be legitimate here because I do think that constructive criticism is important. Obviously, as a fan of it, I don't have a lot of good quality constructive criticism because my needs are being met. One thing I'll agree with you is there should maybe be more like heroic dong. I've said that in the past. That we only see like ugly monster dong. We never see any hero character exposes like genitals or whatever. Eric said he has no interest in it. He said that's going too far. But to be fair, you only ever see like a little bit of camel toe. You never have seen an actual vagina in Savage Dragon. So it's...
well, maybe not full spread.
What about the glub panel?
So wait, I'm no scientist.
I'm just saying.
So a little labia is fine.
I'm no scientist.
That's not quite the same, right?
I'm no scientist.
All I'm saying is it's not explicit anyway. But, like, here's the trick, though, dude, is that we're trying to legitimately get you, like, so, okay, you're saying not every issue. Like, what are you talking? Every 2-3 months?
Maybe it's, I don't care, but it doesn't, it's like, I don't know.
And
we go from one panel and it's like the Janey twins, and then the next page, different scene, it's like the Thunderhead.
But that was like, it. Man, that was it literally in the whole issue. Literally in the whole issue. It was just those 2 pages.
This issue, but it's every issue and it's multiple pages. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm good with, I don't know. I just don't need it every page. Every issue on multiple scenes. It's just, I don't know. It seems like it's just.
Every 2-3 months, 2-3 issues.
I don't know.
We only much?
Get. This is all based on, real time.
Yeah.
And we get 1 issue a month, and I just feel like, I don't know, I don't need to waste it on a page on a porno tape. I'd rather him spend the time to develop, I don't know, other plots. I don't know.
I would be rather reading more about Dart and her machinations, that's for sure.
You boring
dude.
bitch.
It's Eric's book. He can do what he wants. I'm not opposed to the sex scenes. I just feel like I don't know.
As it is, it's mostly text here. Like, it's not like you're seeing anything. Like, they're literally just talking about it. That's one
All right,
of the reasons
let me flip
why...
the script for you. What are
Okay,
you complaining about? You get
I'm not.
sexy panels every issue, couple of them. I'm just asking for him to turn it down a little.
All right, that's fine. And Jim wants more dong.
I want equal opportunity dong.
All right.
Not necessarily more dong.
So I'm saying that would make it feel more...
You don't need to show penetration.
I got to tell you, I don't think a horny guy character is good, dude.
I'm not saying that either, but I'm just saying...
I'm not saying that either.
It's just weird that, like, every female character seems a little over the top horny, and no male characters are. Like, it's a world of just...
And that athlete analogy only goes so far to paper it over.
I think you guys are
maybe I just don't know enough women.
No. What are you talking about with that? What's that mean?
Like, are women this thirsty? Do I just not know them?
Yes. They're just like anyone. They're horny, just like anyone. They just want a bone.
I mean...
Plus, these are characters in weird situations. Like... You know, your own clone, it's something we can only joke about. But clearly, like, more than one person on planet Earth has thought about that scenario. And I've talked to people about it, and they've said that, yeah, they would. Like, I'm just like, you know, it's not like some crazy, whoa, what a crazy idea. Like,
Mark Welser really said he would?
Dude.
He has drawings. They're very explicit. Yeah, in that
Sorry,
Savage
Mark,
Dragon style.
listener.
Yeah. For the listeners who may not know, he's just a friend of the FINcast who has done a Savage Dragon backup, and he's got that sweet Larson style. So I just like to... I know he's listening. I just like to joke around a little bit. But... I mean, I'm not complaining. And honestly, too, like, I do feel bad. I see comments in the Facebook group where people are like, it's too much. And I'm like, okay, I get it. There's people who, but I think what's hard for me to reconcile is that what is too much, because it went from fairly explicit. The comic was doing things that I was like, whoa, when Maxine was getting like, we saw cum in the comic. Like, we saw Maxine, like, naked getting thrown across the room.
228, that's what they're referencing.
I get it. And then the book has made an effort. We've acknowledged several times that the book has made an effort to dial it back. And now you see these two panels. These two
I'm losing my shit, am I? Is that what you're getting at?
I'm simply saying that I think after praising the book several times for dialing it back, that's why I kept saying, what is too much? Because to me, it feels like there's been 2 or 3 issues before it was really anything weird.
So maybe I should rephrase it, like, adding more characters that are super horny, I guess, to me, is just like, really? We need more characters? We already have, like, over-the-top Maxine. Do we need over-the-top Janie twins, too? Like, I guess that's my beef in a way. And then you get hit over the head again. You turn the page. Now it's over the top Thunderhead in May. And it's like,
they're a married couple.
But married couples don't make pornos that their kids watch. It's like another over the top situation. I get it. It's comics.
What Maxine has done is what's weirding you out. What they have done is simply like, dude, they're just.
That's what they have done is not weirding me out either. It's just that. It's just got to all be crammed into the comic. It's just like another kind of sex scene in a different way.
2 pages that I feel are the raciest that we've seen since everything got dialed back. I really do.
I love when it comes to like sex stuff. Raven really just puts the hammer down. Like, this is where it.
He's really it's all what's the phrasing? Everything is valid or nothing is. That's our Raven.
No, that's like, not it. That's not it at all.
So like all the plots that don't deal with like action or vicious circle all seem to deal with sex plots. It's all based around sex.
I mean, what in lieu of what? They're like self-sheltering and isolating, like this COVID. Like
whether it's the demon dick thing, or whether it's the sex tape, or whether it's Maxine getting too drunk and making a fool of herself at the Chip and Dale Club.
I guess what Craig is saying is that the sex stuff isn't as interesting as literally anything else could be.
Ooh. It's just over. It's always centered around some kind of thing that
Eric, you've desensitized us.
No, I think you boys are quite sensitive. Too sensitive. I think that this is just an era in the book. I think that like Savage Dragon has had.
It's been going on a long time. Think about it. The sex stuff has been going on since 200. The explicit like actual showing of sex has been going on at least 25 plus issues. But sex itself has been the initial threesome happened around 200, I think, where we didn't get any real details.
This isn't real explicit, and what Raven's saying is correct. Yes, he's kind of seems like it's dialed down. It's not as explicit. I just feel like I don't
know. Groping your twin's pretty up there.
No, you don't see anything. It's implied. Yeah. It's all implied.
She's just given the heavy metal symbol. There's nothing happening there.
It's implied.
Hail Satan there.
It's implied. I'm saying there's a lot more grosser ways to do that for sure. It's implied. I don't think it's explicit, but again, that's the thing. Is what I'm saying is I feel like this book has dialed it back a lot.
Yeah, and I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse, but to me, it's just the introduction of yet another super horny character. That's just like, really, we got that. We got that little box checked. Anyway,
is it a real quick question? Not going to keep fighting this, like, and there's no fight to it. By the way, listeners, like, P.S. I mean, we're here. It's a podcast about discussing Savage Dragon. Like in real life, like, do I give a shit if people are mad or whatever? No, I don't give a fuck. Because again, like Craig said, I'm getting what I want. I'm super like happy, don't care. But I also do. I get it. Everyone in the world feels different about everything, and so of course, sex is a divisive thing.
And just to add, I'm not mad about it. I can live with it. I just feel like I think I would enjoy the book a little more if it was a little less of it. But I'm not enjoying the book.
Yeah, I mean, we're here to talk about.
I'm not like grossed out about it and like, oh, I can't even read this or look at this. This is my opinion and what I think would make a better book. Obviously, I'm not Eric Larson. I don't have a 250 issue comic, so obviously he knows what he's doing.
But I mean, we're just here to talk, though.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like, and I'm joking with, like, oh, you guys, oh, you stupid bitch. Like, it's like, dudes, feel how you want to feel.
Did you call me a stupid bitch right now?
I did. I got old, ugly, stupid. No,
yeah, you really hurled the insults today.
It's been good, dude. This has been a good one. But like, legit. Like, you can feel how you want to feel, and it's cool that we're good to talk about it. I think that it's interesting to just get that feedback, and I don't know. I still feel like it's one of those things where it's like just it's interesting to me in the book, but I can appreciate if it's not for you. This should have been the damn FINcast, bro. FINteresting Conversation. Like, I'm curious to see in lieu of. Like you said, you want to know what Dart's doing, like in lieu of like the Janey twins. And the feedback, I think, is like, too, I respect your feedback. Like, if you want to see like a non-horny character, that's cool. To me, in a way, I think it kind of takes some of the burden off of Maxine if she's the only horny character. Because if that's your like character trope, oh, I'm the horny character. I mean, that's kind of not. So it's kind of, to me, like when you zoom the lens back and it's like, oh, well, the Janey twins have this weird thing. And in the previous issue, it was foreshadowed. They were into the idea of getting it on and, the other people weren't. And to me, it's like it does build on character. Like these two, like the brothers, they're like, no, dude, like we don't do anything like that. Like they weren't even into the idea of the foursome. The Janeys said that all the boys in the room froze. Malcolm wasn't into it. Like the brothers weren't into it. So it's kind of like, to me, when you have these other characters, I don't think Alex is super horny. She's always been horny in a particular fashion. Like she's all about Dragon. Like Dragon can get whatever he wants, but it's not like she was like, licking like Howard Neisman's neck. Or
but she went from Dragon to Angel when they were on the Savage world after that. Remember?
I thought it was an extreme scenario. I thought she was going to die.
So I would, just as you were talking, I was listening and also kind of thinking this, maybe this is what it is for me. Like the criticism that Dragon's becoming more like a porno than a comic. And I can see it in some ways, whereas like a porno, it's like, there's a story and everything there, but it's always like these like just horny people like built into it. Whereas, in Dragon, if it was just the Maxine or there was kind of normal sex scenes here and there, but I feel like it's getting overridden by these like super horny characters that makes it feel more like a porno comic in ways. And not this comic, because it's just 2 scenes. I understand that, but I feel like that also fuels the, it's not just a sex scene between a married couple or a sex scene between 2 people or even group sex. It's just the horny characters popping up, and like everything, all the plots kind of seem to surround sex. And that makes it feel more of just, instead of sex being part of life in the comic, it's more like focused on it. It's the plot.
I just don't feel like it is. Like the plot to me, like you've got the vicious circle.
It's one plot. Yeah.
Vicious circle coming to, because they're
I'm being a little extreme, but like I was saying, like all the like family, like background stuff, I feel like a lot of it is based on kind of sexual encounters and things like that.
Fair enough.
Maybe I'm being disingenuous on some of this, how I'm saying it, but I don't know.
I got to be honest, like I can't really think of interesting storylines with May and Thunderhead that aren't like boring if you go the other direction. Like it's kind of like, to me, that is interesting.
No, that sounds like a cop out.
Thunderhead's so interesting in terms of he's a guy that looks like a skull that used to be super buff looking, and he just wants to live a normal life and can't hold down a job.
But like to me now, dude,
that's
like,
interesting.
What does that matter?
So many characters like marriage and like, like just a domestic life and stuff. Clearly he's not like hated like he was in Chicago. He doesn't have to do with that freak racism and like allegory like was going on in Chicago. Clearly people in Canada are more chill. And so I'm saying you never see it in the comics.
Takeaway?
I'm just saying that like his life is better. His life has gone to a good place. So what are you going to just throw some like, yes, all of a sudden?
I interpret it all differently.
Oh, let's hear it.
Well, I do think that things might be marginally better for him, but he kind of lucked into a pregnancy and a relationship.
What if he can't hold down a job to pay for his family?
Or
That'd
take care
cool.
of his family, or maybe deep down he didn't want to have a baby.
Is that what you want to read?
What if he
struggles to get a job?
Yeah. What if he's secretly robbing people or join a collective of villains to help pay for his family because he can't put food on the table, is too ashamed to say it?
One of the most interesting things about Savage Dragon running was always like Powerhouse and how he's straddling this line between villain
good and bad
and fighting for freak rights because the world can't handle its freaks. I mean, there's storylines there, especially now in the climate we're in now. There's all kinds of stories you can tell about.
Surely you've realized that people don't like that. People don't like that these days. Race allegories people do not like it.
I mean, yes.
All right, so what about...
That's super rejected these days.
But
so I'm glad it retired from the book. But
Thunderhead is... he is a minority. His mom was black.
But even so, it could be a class thing where he just doesn't have the money. It doesn't have to be a race thing. He looks like a skull. He freaks people out. People are scared of him. He looks like a villain. What a cool story if he was like putting a mask on and moonlighting with some kind of villain gang to make extra money. Malcolm tackles him and the mask falls off and realizes it's Thunderhead or something to that effect. I mean, I'm just saying, there's plenty of other stories that could be, to say that there wouldn't be any interesting stories. You're talking about Savage Dragon. You're talking about Eric Larson. That guy can make stories about a million things. I'm not concerned that there aren't any other stories that you could be told with Thunderhead. He's such a cool looking character.
I would be happy just with stories where like Thunderhead's getting arrested for no reason just because of how he looks. And he's having to deal with all this pressure from, society not accepting him.
I think Savage Dragon's done that. Eric doesn't like to go over the same ground.
Right,
we've seen that.
Purple-headed lightning dick.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I am actually, like I said, this is a conversation show. We're talking about it, and I am interested to hear. So it's fine. If you guys if you feel that these 2 pages would have been better served as something more like a dramatical element instead of comedy, because to me, the presence of sex is the new comedy. It's played for laughs every time. The Janies groping each other, that's dumb comedy. Maxine being so into, she says it's gross, but, also she thinks it's hot. That's funny, because that's not what you expect. Most people are disgusted by the idea of their parents, and yet here's this character that's oh, it's gross, but it's hot, and that's hilarious. If you think these 2 pages of comedy, to me, comedy, yes, sexual themed, but comedy, if you think these 2 pages would have been better served with drama, I cannot fight you. That's totally your opinion, and you could be right. I've seen other people dissatisfied, so it's fine. It's cool. You know what? Maybe you're right.
I'd like to hear what the listeners have to say. If you guys are still listening at this point,
give that. Why don't we just say that's a FINteresting conversation?
It could be one of them. Yeah.
Get in there.
Either or.
I feel like we
think
talked
that
about
it's too much. Would you dial it back, or do you like it how it is? What would you do different?
Listeners, do you think it already has taken steps to be dialed back? Just curious. Want to hear both sides of the fence. We'll throw it out there.
Yes. We really want to hear people's opinions on this.
Yeah, we really legitimately do. Because we actually know how we all feel. So,
you can leave us a message on our website at savagefincast.com, or send us an email to savagefincast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about this, because we've gone on for a while about it, and this isn't the first time. So this is a topic that we want more opinions on.
Well, I think it's important too, because currently Savage Dragon is fighting that dismissive, reductive view, and I think it's important.
At the same time, we're getting a lot of new readers, I feel like. So it's interesting to see, would people be turned off if they've read some of the earlier issues or were an old reader and are coming back? What is it? And honestly, it doesn't really matter if they're turned off or not, because the charm of Savage Dragon is that Eric's following his own muse. So it really doesn't matter if I like it or not. Obviously, he's survived this long, and I wouldn't want him to change based on anyone's opinion. But I still would like to know what people like and don't like.
Yeah, it's a conversation show. We're just talking about this book, and so it's still important just to hear people talk. And so it's cool. I would like to hear what listeners have to say about it. You said there were some juicy letters. I don't have my physical edition, so help us out here.
I don't think there are any juicy letters. Did I say
new
that?
Listeners, you alluded that there was a presence of new readership through the letters.
Oh, right. Do we want to talk about the letters, or do we want to talk about Mighty Man back up first?
Whichever's more interesting.
Either or.
Whichever's more interesting for you at this moment.
The 249 letters aren't so much juicy as it was. One guy wrote in saying that he just talked about issue 200, which is funny. He's like, you don't mind me talking about old issues, do you? Because I've only got up to 200, but I'm going back through and reading it all. And cool. So he talks about that, and Eric's cool about it. He's like, no, I don't mind at all. So
that's
there's
nice.
that. Trying to think off the top of my head. I didn't pull out the issue with the letters. There was another letter in there with another new reader. It was just interesting to see that in there. So Jerome Wiki wrote in with he's kind of a new reader. Someone that wrote in for the first time.
Nice.
Let's see.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see some new letter hacks I want to see new guys chiming in every issue.
Oh, so this is a good letter, and I hope like the listeners forgive me for reading some of it, but I think it's worth it. So this guy writes, "Dear Eric, this is my first time writing into Savage Dragon Hell. It's my first time writing into any comic book letter column. Why am I doing this? Well, the answer needs some backstory. Blah, blah. Me and a few friends had never read Savage Dragon before, but were aware of it and that it was one of the Founding Image comics, but we never read it. Even when the book crossed over with Spawn, none of us read it. But then Robert Kirkman announced Invincible would end with its run of issue 144, and me and these friends decided to reread the entire series once the final compendium came out. So they would read one issue a day at a time with Invincible and talk about it. And a character that caught their eyes was Savage Dragon due to his numerous appearances. And he only owned the mini, but then they decided to go back. It says him and his friends went back and raided every back issue bin in the greater Twin Cities metro area for issues of Savage Dragon, Freak Force, Deadly Duo, Vanguard, Star, Super Patriot. It says, awesome. And even Dart. We drained the marketplace of back issues and then set our sights onto eBay lots trying to complete our collection, which is funny because there's a lot of people on the Eric Larson Facebook page that are trying to find back issues and can't find it. Right. Sounds like these guys were on to it months before. But yeah, so he's just saying he loves it. He's up to like 247 now. He's writing in. And so sounds like a group of Invincible guys were looking for something new after Invincible left. And of course, if you like Invincible, I mean, it's a pretty good chance you're going to love Savage Dragon for obvious reasons.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just surprised there's not more of that. But yeah, I thought that was a cool letter. So there was like 2 letters of like kind of new readers. And actually that one letter is like a group of people. So
hell yes, dude. I love to hear that.
Yeah. So it's really cool to hear this stuff. And like I said, there's a lot of new members on the Savage Dragon fan page on Facebook. Mm-hmm. So it's fun. We're getting a shot of new readers, and I think with 250 around the corner, it's gonna be cool.
There's a lot of fresh blood. I think there's a lot of fresh blood, and I love to see how active they are. Yeah. And again, that was just an experience I lived too, tracking down all those old issues. It's so fun. And yeah, man, welcome aboard, guys. If you're listening, like, thank you for writing in. Thank you for participating on the Facebook group. Like, God bless every active Savage Dragon fan, dude, for sure.
I really do think, and I've said this before, that this COVID situation's kind of been a blessing for books like Savage Dragon. When people are looking for new reading material and want something with a large run that they can just have fun digging up issues and collecting. Yeah, I'm kind of doing the same thing with Megaton Man, which everyone has Megaton versus Megaton Man and Savage Dragon, and we all know he was a backup. But I never really spent the time to go through and buy the back issues and stuff, and I'm having a lot of fun going through Don Simpson's back issues. So I get like what people are doing with Savage Dragon. Just if you can't get new comics, just trying to, go through some old comics and pick up stuff because there's so much out there.
And it really helps your local comic shops too, because that's stock that they just have sitting around. They don't have to invest and then immediately turn around and like get cash out, like just immediately sink. That's like just nothing but profit for them when you buy those old issues. So hell yeah.
Yeah. Even though the creators might not, but
yeah.
I mean, but then you end up buying their new stuff when it comes out.
And Eric's always been super supportive of the direct market. And so even if the direct market's not super supportive of him, he's always been there for them. So he doesn't give a shit. So it's cool.
So shall we get into the Mighty Man mini? We've really spent a lot of time on this issue, but I think it was worth it.
I do too. 249 is the build-up before the big 250, but also too, I think we, had important conversations, so it's cool.
It's funny because the main story is actually short compared to the typical main story pages because this Mighty Man is a little larger than your normal backup. Mm-hmm. This Mighty Man backup was supposed to be in 250 actually, and there was just too many stories that came through.
This is a good one.
I do say it's funny that it's been reprinted this soon because this just appeared in Big Bang Adventures #2.
Yeah,
just last month.
I like, though, the difference between this and the Big Bang Adventures is that Eric kind of colored this in the old school way.
Oh yeah, it's got the offset coloring thing going on.
The offset, yes. It looks very aged, whereas the one in Big Bang Adventures #2 is colored like a modern comic.
I can't even imagine this colored modern. Like, I think it looks good aged.
Yeah.
I got to say the art by this Jonathan DeHenry is super good for a CC Beck send up. He's really I don't know the name of the guy who did the earlier Big Bang Mighty Man stuff.
Bill Fugate, who's credited as the story here. So this story was originally supposed to be by Gary and Bill, and Bill passed away years ago now. And I guess this has just been sitting around. And I think this guy...
Fugate was great at that style as well, and this new guy is great at doing it as well. So I think that it's a really good art fit, and I'm glad this finally saw the light of day. It's a Billy Bierman era Mighty Man story. Just the quick gist of the story is that he goes to a museum, and then there's a magic stone with the power of Thor that a little girl gains the power of a magic ring that gives her the power of, basically it makes her an adult, like a opera singer,
like a Valkyrie.
Valkyrie
gives her the power of Valkyries, but it gives her like a super powerful voice that just does all kinds of damage.
Commands the dead and all kinds of shit. Can fly. I was like, holy cow.
She's like the stereotypical Valkyrie opera singer.
Right. She's at least as powerful as Mighty Man is, and so he struggles a lot to contain her. But of course, she's defeated by food. Little girl loves hot dogs.
Yep.
And her mother and hot dogs.
Yeah.
So her mother
checks out.
Convinces her to take the ring off, which depowers her, but it transfers the power to this other woman who is, I guess it's kind of Billy's like love interest, but she's like way old.
Yeah, it's his crush.
It's his crush, but she's way older than he is.
Yeah.
But when he's Mighty Man, of course, they look of similar age. So she loves Mighty Man, but she doesn't know Billy Bierman is Mighty Man.
Right. She gives him an innocent peck on the cheek.
It's kind of cute in a creepy way.
That's just hilarious. Kind of cute in a creepy way.
But otherwise, it's a pretty good, just kind of Golden Age style Captain Marvel story, and that's kind of why we dig it.
Yeah, fun stuff. I love all the action, just the big, huge, like cartoon, like boom with like a panel dedicated just to a sound effect, like boom, doom, like so good, dude.
Yeah.
And the weird ghost Thor, like, just wasn't expecting that.
I thought it was really well paced. I like how Billy Berman cracks the tablet because he is Mighty Man. Mm-hmm. It's like he gets knocked into it by the little girl, but because he's got the Mighty Man powers, basically causes it to crack open because it's got the special ring in it that's been waiting for a super human to get it, I guess, is what the ghost is saying.
Yeah, he was the one.
But it's cool. It's a cute story. It's got mummies involved, which is cool. The Valkyrie girl. It's kind of neat the way they defeat her.
It does seem like Jeannie might keep these powers, though.
Yeah, which is cool.
She doesn't lose them at the end. She's still got the magic ring.
Yeah, I like that.
And she's an archaeologist, scientist, but she's powered by magic. It's kind of an interesting dynamic.
Was Donald Blake an archaeologist? No, he was a doctor.
He was a doctor.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I liked it. It was good.
Same here, dude. No complaints. Absolutely awesome. Great backup. Like, totally solid.
I love, like, old Mighty Man strips as, like, basically Captain Marvel.
Oh, give me that. Yeah, give me that all you want, dude. I'll read that every time.
And,
cool.
Awesome issue.
So last but not least, we got one more issue of Ninja Turtles Urban Legends to talk about. We'll try to keep
Issue
it brief
20.
because we're going a little long, but oops, where is it?
Issue 20.
Forgot to have it queued up.
I got you back while you're getting that. Urban Legends issue 20. You know, we open it up. It's got the Triceraton that was riding the air car. He was teleported.
He teleported to the back of the air car.
Yep. Gets kicked out. Or no, he kicks Donnie out. Donnie goes flying and tries to use. I like it's very subtle storytelling by Gary, where Donnie tries to use a jet, but he's like having to manually get information from the armor instead of just the armor can just access its own stuff. So he has a.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say he's got a really cool like looking jet, but he can't make fuel for it. So then he just makes a helicopter.
Go gadget. Go gadget.
Yeah, I love it. Dude.
Remind me, when did Donnie get his personality back? I thought for a while, like a bunch of issues, I thought that the cyborg components had just taken over.
That was with what's his face, the robot guy. What's his name?
You're talking about the serial killer?
Johnny Rathburn.
Johnny Rathburn like electrocuted him somehow, and like I recall he like.
He woke his brain up, basically.
Okay. He was brain dead, but whatever interaction caused him to basically get control back.
I totally spaced on it.
Yeah, it was a while ago. I think it was part of the chunk of issues we read back in December.
Gotcha. Yeah, COVID has this a little stilted, so you can be forgiven, like because it's totally like. Plus, in all these Turtles, like a lot of stuff happens, like every issue. So
yeah, so much because they're so like, I don't know. Each turtle is like doing their own thing almost in these.
Big time. Yeah. It's like 4 different like things going simultaneously all the time.
We get a nice scene with Hortus fighting back, which is nice because I honestly don't think she puts up she doesn't fight as well as a lot of characters, but at least she tries. But we also get a little insight into her origins here.
I liked that a lot.
Apparently she is a related species to the Saurians.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy how much we're getting in Ninja Turtles, versus Savage Dragon or Freak Force. But that's cool. I like that. It's something fun for the Savage Dragon fans.
Because just in case you're a new listener, we never really knew Hortus's origins. Only that she was the product of an alien and a Earth woman. But you just never know. And then this Triceraton sees her and he's like, "Hey, little sister," and she's like, "What?" Because he's real familiar. And he's like, yeah, I've seen your people. So instantly she's like, whoa. So yeah, it's cool. It's very cool.
And Donnie remotely makes the car flip over and the soldier tumbles out to his death.
Into a museum, which is great.
Yeah, it's like they're into the museum, and it's like all skeletons of dinosaurs. So like the Triceratons are all appalled. Like, these Earthlings have wiped out our species on this planet.
It's so awesome, dude. Pimlico sneaking up on Splinter.
I gotta say, I love the fact that Splinter has a cat.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? And it's also cool that Pimlico has been a total badass, but like Splinter just easily takes her out. Because he's a master. He's a ninja master. It's real easy to just think of him as like shitty and feeble, but nope.
Everyone underestimates Splinter.
Yep. Casey getting a cab ride, and he's sort of getting there's a thread of him being recognized as the hero of New York from taking out those giant monitor lizards.
Yep.
Right.
And then Pimlico escapes.
Yep.
They're sitting around. Casey and Splinter are sitting around. Pimlico escapes. Leo comes. They're like, "Yo, Leo, let's go hunt these fuckers down." There's Triceratons. Like, Donnie called Splinter and said, "Hey, Triceraton, I need backup." So they take off. And that's where you get to see the Triceratons in the museum. Hortus is acting like a little butthole in this sequence, though. She is, dude.
She's just an idiot.
Yeah. But
I don't think it's on purpose. It's just
she just runs right into danger, though, is the thing.
she doesn't get along with Donnie at all. It's funny.
Yeah, not at all.
I think that's cool. It's a cool little dynamic. My highlight for all of these comics lately, for these Ninja Turtle Urban Legend comics, are the Raphael scenes. I really get a kick out of kind of seeing him lead the foot in the issues that he's having.
Oh, yeah. Because they're just too much for him to handle, really. Like, they need to take on, like, murder missions and assassination missions and stealing in order just to pay for their food. And so he's not really doing what he likes. Like, it's not what he wants. He doesn't want that, but like there's
he's not really a hero anymore.
Right. Because he's doing it. Like he's like, well.
The foot expects to be led by, they expect to be guns for hire.
Right.
And so, yeah, and Raphael hasn't figured out how to like thread that needle to do that and also do good. Because the foot's reputation is that of killers, so they're being hired by killers.
And Gary set up a beautiful dynamic with like Raph and Leo are always like at each other's throats, like that's just the way it is. But like there's this also leadership clash. Like like Raph is like, no, I am a good leader, and like so anytime Leo's around, who is a natural born leader, like it's like it creates that antagonism. So that's what you got going on here.
It undermines Raph's authority every single time.
Yeah, even here.
Because Leo is the natural leader, and he's groomed to be leader, and Raph has always resented it. And every time he's been given opportunity to lead, he's always either failed or failed himself. And that's kind of, his big fear is that he's not as good as Leo.
He's failing now, is what's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's failing now.
This issue is just, you read it and it's a regular sized comic, but there's just so much going on in it. It's crazy. Like from the scenes of the Triceratons and Donatello and Horridus to Pimimco or whatever, however you say her name, and Splinter and Casey Jones. Then it jumps to Raphael, and then it's like so much going, and then Leatherhead and whatever his name is, Dr. X.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many characters and so much going on, and it reads smoothly and it's fun. It just keeps it super interesting. I'm really enjoying this issue.
I enjoyed this series way more than I expected. And that's no commentary on Frank and Gary. That's a commentary on my love of the Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was blown away by how well he's juggling like all these irons in the fire. So hell yes, dude. I totally am just echoing your sentiments. Very good. We end the issue with Leatherhead, Casey, and Mikey going to beat some Triceraton ass.
And Casey's got his, I guess now kind of famous American flag mask.
Yeah, he's had that the whole series. I think that came out of the Body Bags.
It did. What's his name, the artist?
Beasley.
The Biz.
Simon Beasley, yeah. Yeah, and they kept it for the series. And we've talked about it in the past. It's a pretty cool nod. Someone's yawning. I think we're done.
I think we're cracking 2 hours 30. This is going to be one of our longer episodes. So
wow.
I think it's a good time to wrap up.
We had a lot to talk about, though.
Yes.
A lot to talk about. It's pretty amazing how one issue of a comic can generate that much conversation.
Oh, yeah, dude. People, like, when I tell them, like, I do a podcast with some, like, bros of mine just about Savage Dragon.
A single issue of Savage Dragon.
It's like, what? And I'm like, oh, no, dude. Listen, there's shit to get into every issue. Trust me. I get a feeling.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, because I was going to
I was going to say there's more that happens in one issue of Savage Dragon, like we always say, than, 12 issues of a mainstream comic, usually.
That's because it's not written for the trade. It's written monthly. It's written to give you a kick-ass experience in a month. I always say that, dude. I had this fight with some bros, comic bros. I was like, yo, because with the whole COVID-19, everybody's like, monthly issues should go away anyway. And I'm like, you're wrong. If you read comics that are written for monthly consumption, they are amazing. Like, they are so good.
People who say get rid of singles are crazy. Even the stuff that's written for a trade, they're crazy.
Agree. Don't get rid of singles. I think we're gonna have an even bigger episode next time.
Could be.
Oh, I hope so.
There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, I think we got 100 big pages to chew on.
All those backups, I can't wait to see.
Yeah, dude. With Savage Dragon 250. Eric Larson's Savage Dragon hits issue 250. For 28 years, Eric Larson has chronicled the lives and times of the dragon and his extended family in one of comics' only series set in real time. This monumental oversized milestone issue is a sweeping culmination that sets the stage for the next phase of comics' most uncompromising series with its most shocking story yet. Forces have conspired against Malcolm Dragon and his family. But is this a turning point or the end? Find out as Savage Dragon becomes the second original Image title to reach its 250th issue and begins the countdown to 300.
Sweet.
I'm goddamn pumped. I can't wait, dude. I'm so hyped. I am hyped. I can't wait. 250 dudes, we're here.
It's going to be pretty cool.
So excited.
Like I said, I love the main story and stuff, and I always expect Eric to have some kind of twist, but I'm I'm just as excited to see what kind of backup stories he's written and who he's got to. I mean, we know some of them, but we don't know all of them, so.
And on top of that,
it's going to be fun.
What's great about those big, 100-page issues is man, they are usually all killer, no filler. I can't really remember when I was like, meh. So I'm so hyped for 250. Jim, I need you to chime in, dude.
1 month away.
I mean, I'm as excited as I am for every issue of Savage Dragon.
Way to sell it.
I'm just saying.
No sell. Total no
I'm just saying that numbers are just numbers.
Issues ain't nothing but a number, baby.
Can't be more excited than completely excited.
Sweet.
I mean, it's a big deal he's reached the number, but 251 comes after that.
But Jim, it's a big number.
It'll be
I just
it'll
feel
be
like
small
he always
the following
does something
month.
crazy.
Yeah. Good Lord. Dudes, thanks so much for chatting Savage Dragon with me. It is always a pleasure.
Don't forget to write.
Yes, please write. Write, please. The words,
Thank you.
so we can read them back to you.
Yes. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Jim. Please, please, please write us. We would love to hear your FINteresting views.
All right. Well, toodles.
Have a good one.
See ya, 250.